Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? This is Lori from Real Cinema Therapy and Jen, the teacher.
Hey,
Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? This is Lori from Real Cinema Therapy and Jen, the teacher. Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? This is Lori from Real.
There we go. Sorry about that. I had the YouTube on live.
I didn't know if it was you or me.
I was like, wait, what screen is on?
I've done that too many times, believe me. Okay. So, Jen, talk to everybody for a minute. I just have to make sure I'm live on YouTube.
No problem. Well, yeah, I see us live on YouTube. But
we
hey,
are?
everybody.
Okay.
Yep. Nice to see you guys. We're here to talk Coldwater, episode 2 and 3. I know the last time that we were here live, we wanted to get through episode 2. We didn't get to it because we were just so hyped up on episode 1, and there was just so much to kind of get into, really getting the show off and going. So today we're going to start into episode 2 and 3. And now that we're getting and progressing along, I know we've had the watch parties and some people have watched it. How are you guys feeling about this in the chat? Are you feeling the intensity as the episodes progress? How are you guys feeling about that? I personally, I'm really liking it. I think each episode is getting better and better.
I agree. Every episode is giving us a little glimpse into who John and Tommy are, what their dynamic is, and especially their wives too. I mean, we're finding out his Tommy's wife is very sus.
Oh yeah, she is sus. I see some things in episode 2, and I'm just like, ugh. And then as it progresses into episode 3, and Fiona as well, you kind of felt bad for her, and as it's progressing, I'm starting to hate her.
Fiona?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Is that sarcasm for real? Because she's starting, like, at first, like.
Oh, because of what she did, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
As she's going on, I'm like, girl, you need to calm down. You're half the reason why. You're not Miss Innocent in all of this. Calm yourself down. And
yes, that is very true. I wasn't thinking about that, but you are right. It is an issue what she's done, but we will talk about that as we get to it.
Yes.
So, guys, we're going to start here now, and basically the episode starts out with John. He's going to go for a run. I mean, basically, he's crying. He wakes up crying. He's very upset about what happened with Angus. He believes he killed Angus. He doesn't know for sure, but he thinks so. So he decides he's going to go on a run because for John, running is his way of de-stressing. So he decides this is what he wants to do. So we see him, you could see the anguish on his face right here. And he decides to take a run. Okay, he's in the forest and he's running. And again, this is stress relief for him. Oh, hi, Kimberly. Hi, Cool Nerd Drooper. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream.
Hey,
We're now doing episode 2. So John is running, and basically the next scene is Tommy. Tommy is going to his shed. Now, in the last episode, the way it ended, if you remember, he burned down Angus's trailer, and he went and he stole Angus's crucifix, and he put it in his little treasure box with all his other tokens.
Right, his trophies, because he's definitely done this murder stuff before.
Yes, his trophies. And somebody pointed out, I don't remember who it was, that it is actually an upside down crucifix, and that is correct. It is a satanic symbol. So the fact that Tommy took it is something I want to talk to you about, Jen. I want to have your feedback about that. Hi, Just Me. Hello. She just joined. Okay, so Tommy is now going to his shed, and he's looking around, make sure nobody's looking. But, of course, his son is looking out the window. His son is looking right at him. He sees what's going on. So Tommy opens up his little box of trophies, and there it is, an upside-down crucifix.
Yeah, taking that crucifix, like he definitely has a thing for taking jewelry, which we can see from that treasure box that there's a lot of jewelry in there. So it's definitely his trophy of choice whenever he does this, right? But then we come to find out what he actually thought about that later on by episode 3. We see his son tell his sister, right? His children are discussing it. And he tells him that his father was so angry the day he saw him wear that in church
Yes.
and he kicked him out. So to him, I'm wondering because we don't really know all of his victims just yet, but I wonder if his victims aren't just by random, if they're actually intentional and it's always something that has really pissed him off and angered him, and that trophy is what he takes. I
Hmm.
wonder if, well, that's definitely tied into this trophy. I just wonder if it is that way for all the other trophies.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thought. I mean, we don't know yet because we don't know who else he murdered.
Yeah,
But
and I actually wondered if this is the first male that he's murdered because I was thinking that he had just murdered women,
mhm,
like some of the
yes,
serial killers. And then, we saw this happen and it was in the first episode and I knew that was a male. But then looking at the other trophies, they look like more feminine trophies. And I keep thinking he's going to go after a female. So,
yes, that's true. I mean, yeah, we don't know enough yet. But
right,
as the show goes on, we're going to find out a little bit more about what he's actually doing. Now, the fact that he took this upside down cross, right? He could have taken anything from Angus's because he was in Angus's trailer, right? He
right,
could have taken anything he wanted, but he took that. Now we do find out in a later episode that he was angry that Angus was wearing that. So by him taking it from Angus, it's like he's trying to claim a piece of Angus, but at the same time, he's trying to help him because he wants God to forgive him. Tommy, he wants God to forgive him. He
right.
wants God to help him. This is a satanic symbol. So if he can somehow get it away from this kid and almost like say, okay, God, look, I took it away from him. So please help me. Right.
Right,
I
right.
mean, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. And I'm
Yeah, like
just
he wants
curious.
some type of an atonement for it. Like he's like, I
Yes.
know I killed this kid, but I did it because I'm
Yes.
trying to save his soul by taking this away from him.
Right.
Right.
I'm trying to help his soul. I took it away from him. And in a way it's also helping him, right? Because he's killing people, right? He's not,
Right.
he's evil himself, right? So I think it's a way of undoing his crimes. He's saying, "Okay, I did kill, but I really want to be a better person. So I took this from this kid and I'm offering it to you for help." You know?
Yeah.
I think that's where he's coming from.
I think so that definitely could be a twist. I mean, he could be just pure evil and just took it out of it just being jewelry. But I like that there's got to be some type of a him seeking atonement and taking some type of culpability and responsibility for his actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because don't forget, he runs this Bible group. His wife is the vicar in the church.
Correct.
He really wants God to forgive him. In
Right. It's
fact,
almost like he knows that he has a, let's just call it a bad habit, and he's trying to break that and kind of redeem himself for murder. For I mean, it's true. Like when you think about it, like maybe not murder, but when you do something wrong, you try to kind of make up for it somehow. Like
yeah,
even look at children. So could he
right.
be making up for it by making sure that he didn't carry this with him?
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And the whole point of his wife being a vicar, I think, is to help him, right? Redeem his soul in some way. Because
Yes.
this is what he wants. She's doing it for him. He wants
Yes.
this. So he's trying to redeem himself. And so I believe that's why he took it. He wants to redeem himself. So, okay, let's see what the chat is saying about it. Um, yes, his wife, yes, just me. His wife said she doesn't even believe in God. She doesn't. And does Tommy believe in God? I think he wants to believe in God, right? But maybe
Right.
he really doesn't either.
he makes a lot of claims and constantly tries to bring like God into certain situations we see in the very first two episodes.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to continue on during the rest of the season, but you see him definitely try to bring God in. So I thought it was interesting because I feel like they're on the fence about what they really believe and not, considering one says she doesn't believe in it, but yet she preaches on Sunday and writes sermons for it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's a little bit, I don't know, just hypocritical,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. It's a little bit hypocritical. Same thing with his Bible study. It's a Bible study club. And even I believe it was a therapist that wanted to, get back into actually reading the Bible. And, that's not really what Tommy wants to do right now. He's reading about serial killers, like what he really is. And
Hmm.
that's even a little hypocritical. Like, how do you read about that when that's against the commandments and against God to murder somebody, and they're studying that in a Bible study club? So we see that hypocrisy kind of running through this whole what they actually do and what they say they believe in.
Hmm. And like Kelly said, it's a good cover for him and for her, basically. It's a good cover. She's the one who's doing it. So
Yeah.
she's covering for him, basically.
Yes, I agree. And
Hmm.
Kimberly mentioned before, up a little further up in the chat, that she thinks that he murdered the missing girl, 25 years ago. And I
Hmm.
actually think that you are correct, Kimberly. I think I'm getting that feeling too after watching all of this and being able to process it, and especially watching it a second and third time, especially since they highlight it. I do think that that might have been like his first kill. Especially, we'll see later on in the episode when we get to episode 3. Tommy makes a statement that he likes blondes, right? And this
Yes.
girl was like a younger
Yes.
blonde. And I'm like, oh, that,
Yes.
from the rejection, you see the way this guy kind of gets angry. We'll see that, especially later on in episode 3. So I
Hmm.
definitely think that Kimberly, you're onto something, and I'm liking that.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. It makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Also, his son, this is in episode 3, we'll get to it. His son makes a remark about how John is bringing something bad out of Dad.
Right. When they're speaking to Margarine, his sister, in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if there was a long lapse between Tommy's kills. Maybe
Yes.
he hasn't killed in a very long time, but John coming to Coldwater for some reason
Is bringing
made
that
it
out.
happen again. That's what I'm thinking is going on.
And I did catch that, and I am in agreement with you 100%. I do think that there's something in John that is bringing this out of Tommy, or just it might even be just the coincidence, just the way like all this bad luck keeps like running into John. The fact that Angus just didn't leave him alone, and John is the one that kind of flipped out in this rage, right? And for the first time actually did something and pretty much beat this kid nearly to death. And
Mhm.
Tommy seeing that was like, huh, I can kind of get my fix in by finishing this kid off. I didn't
Yes.
technically kill him, but that
Yes.
was like the gateway drug for him to want to keep killing.
Mhm.
Like that
That's
that
exactly what
that
I
was the
thought.
gateway drug. Yes.
Right. Remember we talked about this last time that we thought maybe he set it up?
Yes. And that is originally what I had thought. I'm not sure yet. They really haven't given us enough clues, but that is still lingering in the back of my mind. Like he's been waiting for something to happen, and why not with a new person in town?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense because he's had the urge. He has an urge,
And
and
it's
it's
been
probably
building
getting
over time.
stronger.
We don't
Right.
know, like you said, how much time, but if it's been a long lapse in that time, that means that urge has been building. And
Right.
then whatever John and that, murdering Angus triggered at him, that little gateway, from that point, that kind of hyper like soups up the speed, right? Now those urges are getting more and more because he got that little taste of it.
Yeah.
So it's like before he was able to suppress it, and so much time had gone on, and it gets easier and easier to suppress it the more time goes on. That little bit of like that taste of blood for him kind of just really sets him off.
Yeah. So basically, if he could get John to almost kill this kid, he could finish him off.
Right,
And he's killing two birds with one stone. He's like, okay, I got my urge. I scratched my itch. I'm also redeeming his soul at the same time.
right.
Right. So he's doing a good thing. He thinks he's doing a good thing.
Exactly.
Okay. So here His wife is calling him to say, okay, it's time to go to church. And he rushes out and he drops it on the floor.
Yeah, he fumbles that thing, and I didn't even see it fall, to be quite honest, and I replayed it. It was very smooth, however it happened, but he drops that on the floor and goes running out and doesn't even notice. That
Mm-hmm.
I feel is that might be a sign that because that would look like what a quote unquote rookie move, like that's something that he should have known to
Yes.
do. So that might be another sign that, it has been this long lapse in time since his last kill.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah. And he was nervous because he doesn't want his wife to know what he did,
Right.
because she's calling him to go to church. How appropriate is that, right? And they're supposed to go to church and he just killed somebody.
Yes, Neil, I know.
Okay, so here is John again. John is very upset. And he decides he's going to go to Tommy's house and talk to him because he wants to know what happened last night, right? He
Right.
doesn't know what Tommy found when he went to see Angus. He doesn't know anything. So he goes to Tommy's house and Tommy's son opens the door. What is this kid's name again? I forget.
Cameron.
Cameron, thank you.
Yep.
Cameron opens the door and he says, my dad's not here. He's in church. So John
the way
said,
he just looks at him. This show is remarkable when it comes to
yes.
facial expressions. You just read
Yes.
it. He's looking at
Mhm.
him. He's like, "This is this guy really at my door right now? Like, why are you here? And do you not
Right.
realize it's Sunday?"
That's right. And John says, oh, he's at church. Okay, thanks. He goes, oh, by the way, did you have a good run last night? Cameron says to him.
Right.
So John looks at him like, what do you mean? Did I have a good run? And, John is like really like a little freaked out here. But you
Yes,
see this expression, this is Rick Grimes right here.
that
His head.
is 100% Rick. He tilts his head and looks
That
back
is
and
Rick
he's like, "Oh, you
Grimes.
enjoy your run." Yeah, he turned back, but that is 100% Rick. But if you
Yes.
continue on, that like gets him very suspicious because he's
Yeah.
already guilty. He doesn't take his eyes off of him. He starts
No.
walking backwards home.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
just like forget looking over your shoulder. He walks backwards home.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't be more obvious. Like you just walk away and just kind of let it be. Like he just walks backwards staring this kid and this kid is staring him down. Like
Yes. Yes.
oh man, the tension you could just cut with a knife. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
He knows this kid knows, and he knows this kid doesn't like him. He
Right.
feels it. Okay, so on to the next one. Okay, so Cameron decides that he's going to go investigate why his father was in the shed. So he goes in and he finds, guess what he finds? He finds the crucifix on the floor. There it is. And he doesn't know what else is in there. He just happens to see it on the floor. And he picks it up and he leaves with it. John comes home from his run and he decides he's going to go to church because he wants to talk to Tommy.
The way he comes running into the kids, he's like, guys, you want to go somewhere? Do you guys want to go to church? And they're like, they didn't even like look up from their pads or whatever they're doing, their tablets. And he's like so excited, like a little kid, like he found some brand new shiny toy and they're going to go do this because he just wants to find out information because he has no idea what's going on because this is the morning after. And he's like, what's going on? But the way he shows this excitement to go to church, I thought was just crazy considering the way they were speaking and making fun of the vicar on the first episode. And God, we don't even like people in church. We don't even believe in God. So to see him be so excited, and I know his wife is hearing him, watching his expressions, like I said, and the kids are like, what church?
Church?
What's church? And then he's so annoyed by it, like failed as a parent. My kids have no idea what this is. He's like, ask your mother, and like runs by. And she's like, what is going on? What are you talking about? Going to church? We're gonna go to where? Why would you want to go to church? And he's like, well, I don't know. Though we might just, kind of go together. And she's trying to like figure out what's going on. And he is just so into we're going to go to church. I'm going to pick out an outfit. I'm going to take a shower. We're going to church. Just get ready for church. Like this is a normal event. Like him telling her this is something that they've used to do when they've never done it before. And how
Mhm.
he try to normalizes it by just going through the motions to get ready and like just being excited and completely ignoring like what do you mean? Why are you so surprised? Don't we want to
Mhm.
blend in? And like why? I don't know. What was your take on this scene? The way he kind of was just so excited and just brushed off her inquisitiveness on like, what the hell are you doing and who are you?
Well, because he really wants to talk to Tommy. It's not really that he wants to go to church, right? But
Right.
she's confused because they never go to church and they don't believe in God even. So she doesn't know what he's doing. He's acting very erratic, right?
Right.
He's not himself, basically.
Not at all. He's like super hyper. He's just kind of talking a mile a minute about it, and he's not really paying attention to any like the cues that she's giving on this.
Hmm.
What is your problem? And he
Right.
kind of gets defensive over it. And I thought that was just a lot of his behaviors. I feel are very like almost like a teenager. Like he hasn't done these things before or gone away with it. Like the relationship that he has with his wife, he has been so demasculized that he's not even like at his own age anymore. Like he's like, all right, I got to go find this out and I got to go do all this. And the way he's acting is just like so hyper. And I'm like, relax. Like you're like a kid right now. Like chill out.
Well, he's panicked. He's terrified,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he thinks he killed this man. And Tommy didn't get back to him, didn't say anything to him. He said, just go to sleep, right? Take a shower, rest.
Yeah. He said shower, sleep,
The
and
three S's,
silence, right?
silence, right?
Yeah. That's right, the three S's. And just
The
the fact that he
three,
had the three S's, like, this man has done all this kind of stuff before. Like, he has his own, like, anagrams for remembering things. Like, wow.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's his motto, the three S's.
Yeah.
He lives by that. So anyway, so then again, she can't understand what he's doing, and then they all set off to church, all of them together with the kids. And I like this picture actually. I think it's very cute.
Yeah.
It shows the quaintness of the town. Um, and I like, he's wearing a blue suit and it kind of matches the window frames, right? And it's very interesting. It just pops out. It's a nice shot.
Oh yeah, I just noticed in the chat, Corey, that's a really good point about him doing God's work. Like Tommy thinks that he's doing God's work when he saw the upside down cross. That's a really good symbology. And Beehive is mentioning that she thought, and I actually thought this too, that Fiona was going to fight him about going to church.
Hmm.
Like she didn't really put up much of a fight. I kind of thought she would put up more of a fight, and she didn't either. That's a good observation. She went along with it. I wonder if that's part of like the guilt. We find out like kind of what happens with them, but I wonder if that's a guilt thing now that we know a little bit further from this point. But she didn't fight him at all about it.
Hmm. No, she didn't. I think she's a little confused what's going on with him. Okay,
Yeah.
so, okay, one second.
I might have had multiple screenshots by accident.
Yeah, no, I don't understand why I can't go to the next one. One second. Let me huh. Okay, let me take this off for a minute. Let's see what's going on.
So, um, going to church though, when they get there, which I know we're going to kind of go into, but um, I don't know. I know that he's scared about it, but his excitement, like he's just so anxious. It's weird how right now his fear is turned into this anxiety and he's like hyper focused on finding out the information. Like the guilt that he has, the way it actually is displayed in him.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm just looking. This is very strange. One second.
No worries.
What happened here? So what does everyone think of the episode so far? Are people liking it? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you guys rate them?
I know that Corey had mentioned earlier that he didn't really like episode 1 and 2 and he liked 3.
Okay.
I personally feel that as each episode goes, I think each episode is getting better because you're
Mhm.
starting to see each character develop more and more and like really just how psychotic these people are.
Yes.
So I kind of really like I think I said that I would give it like a 7.5,
Hmm.
right? For episode 1. I would definitely step it up a little bit for episode 2. Right now, I would go with a little of an 8, only because we will see where it goes. There's some stuff that happens towards the end of this episode that I found very eye opening in the way of seeing Tommy and the wife. So I feel like we really kind of got to see a lot of Fiona and a lot of John in the first episode. And
Hmm.
in this episode, we kind of get to see them and more of like reactions to a lot of the things that we really see unfold with Tommy and
Right.
John,
Right.
especially after what just happened. And you kind of just see their their relationships and their actions from that moment with Angus. They're kind of just like locked in even
Hmm.
when one of them tries to pull away from the other, it kind of just is not possible at this point.
Right.
I guess
What's
that's how
going
it goes when you like hold somebody's secrets down, right?
on? Absolutely. I know for some reason this is just clocking. What's going on here? What's happening? We're having some technical difficulties. Oh, here we go. Very weird.
just just me gives it a solid 8.
Oh,
Beehive says that she's liked each episode a little bit better than the last. I agree. I agree. Um Honestly, I thought it was acting exciting with his kids. It would be fun. I didn't interpret him as being excited. Oh, all right, Beehive. I definitely interpreted it different. I thought he was trying to be. I thought he was excited overall, and because the way he just was, I didn't think it was just for the kids until they like crushed his dream, and they were like, "What's church?"
okay. So we're back. So again, we see that banner about the woman who was murdered, Susie Bissett, right?
Right.
So, and again, this woman was murdered 25 years ago, and yet they still have posters up on it about her and a banner right there on the church. It's kind of strange, and it's a tour, right? Malky's murder tours. Who killed Susie Bissett? I
Well,
wonder if there's anybody else on this murder tour besides Susie Bissett.
well, if there isn't, then there's that would might indicate that there's been like that 25-year gap that he hasn't really killed. Maybe if he did kill her, I know that we see some of those different trinkets in the treasure, but that might be like kind of confirming what you said earlier that there's been a pretty decent lapse from the first
Yeah,
time he killed.
yeah, absolutely. So I just think it's strange that this is all you see, right? 25 years later, you're still seeing the same poster, and there's somebody giving a tour about it. I just find it very strange, right?
Right.
Okay, so now they're going in the church, and they see. Oh, there's Katrina, the one from the co-op, from the food mart. I'm using the same English words, the co-op.
Right.
What was it? What was it? The play park. The play
The
park. Right. Okay. So then they see Rebecca because she's the vicar in the church, and
right.
she's greeting them.
Fiona gets all excited.
She's very happy they're there. Okay. And she's laughing. They're having a great time. And John asks her, "Where is Tommy?" So she points, and he sees Tommy, and he goes over to Tommy, and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about, what happened." And Tommy says, "No, this isn't a good time. We're going to start the service now." So John basically sits down, not happy, of course, and and he goes and
Well,
well, I'm
that that's
sorry.
that's a good point. Kelly just put in the comments. I said that it's where we were talking about the lapse in the time, and she says, or he's been so good at it that the other ones have been labeled as accidents.
Uh huh. Yes.
That's a good
Yes.
point. That is a good
Hmm.
point. Very
Yeah.
very good. or just
Definitely.
disappearances. Absolutely.
Okay, so they're sitting down, the service started, they're reading, and he sees Tommy is greeting different parishioners and
I thought it
praying
was
with them.
I thought it
Yeah.
was interesting. Like he like got right into singing and kind of being a part of church. And Fiona's kind of looking around and she kind of sings some of it and she starts to kind of, like go with the flow. But John just kind of jumped right into it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting piece. I was like, wow. I felt like, I don't know, I feel like he's starting to become at this point just a little bit like a puppet to Tommy. Like he's already kind of like falling into, lining up with him, even though like this is like almost a bonding moment that he doesn't even realize. And she's liking that he's into church, or
Yes.
either that or she's like kind of mocking it. I can't tell. I thought she was kind of thinking it was sweet and that she liked it.
I think she thinks it's sweet. She does. I think, don't forget, John really isn't doing much with his life right now. He's not working. He's not happy. He keeps getting into confrontations with people, right? With men.
Right,
And she hasn't been happy with him
right,
because he's not happy with himself.
right.
So now she sees he's finally finding something he likes. And maybe that's why she's happy. She's amused by it
She's
on
definitely
one
amused
hand,
by it. Right,
right? But she's also happy because it may make him less depressed, less angry. And
right.
then maybe their relationship will get better.
That's what I was really hoping for, but Beehive has the other point because I thought it could also go this way, which was that she's mocking him or like laughing at him, right? But not like maybe in a mocking. Beehive says not in a mocking way, more like a how cute kind of a way. I thought it could have been a how cute kind of way, or like, oh my god, this guy is he really just looking for something to cling to? So I thought it could go either way, the mocking way or the how cute way. I couldn't
Yeah.
really get a read on it, but then I want to settle on what we were saying. I was like, I'm gonna go with the more positive side, and she thought it was sweet. I'm gonna at this point, I'm gonna think that she was really trying here, and that she thought it was really sweet, like a how cute moment, like Beehive says.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a sweet moment for her only because John really has he really is not happy and he's pulled away from her and from everybody actually.
Right,
So to see him engaged in something, I think it makes her happy.
right.
But I do understand B's point of view too. It makes sense
Good morning, Peter.
because she is angry with him too. So
Yeah.
okay,
Hey,
so yeah,
Peter.
so here this expression. Now, how would you decipher that?
Right. That's what I was like. Is I watched it back when we did the rewatch, and the first time I thought she was doing it mocking him, and then the second time I was like, I think she might actually just be happy that he's happy for a moment. It really might just be like sweet because I
And
think at
then
this point she's just really hoping that he gets his shit together because she wants to make this marriage work.
right, and here she actually starts reading scripture herself. You see,
Right.
so she's actually learning, or not learning, but she's actually going
Participating.
along with what. Right, she's participating in what he wants to do and what is making him happy.
Exactly.
And here is the whole Bible group. They're all singing. And Katrina's also there singing. They really get into the service, right? They look
Right.
very happy. And
They're
that's
all
another thing. You're in a room with people that are embracing this. So
right.
it's kind of rubbing off on
It's
John anyway.
contagious, right? It's a little
Yeah.
contagious when you're in that room and you feel that presence. Absolutely.
And I think that's why they both started participating in the service.
Right.
So they're not singing, but they're reading. Uh, and then John starts having visions again of Angus. He has obviously post traumatic stress disorder, right? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
mainly it came from the park in London because it's been over 2 months now. Usually PTSD has a diagnosis after a certain amount of time. Otherwise, it's called a stress disorder.
Right.
So, or I should say, a traumatic event. But then it becomes PTSD after a certain amount of time. So, if you think about what happened in the park in London, and then you think about this episode that just happened the night before.
Right.
So John is being triggered not just by what happened the night before, but also what happened in London, right?
Right.
It's like a snowball for him.
Absolutely.
So he's very traumatized by all this. And you see he's closing his eyes, and this is all he could see is Angus laying there. So he's looking at Tommy, and Tommy is praying with somebody. So he tells Fiona, okay, I'm going to go and pray with Tommy. She says, what? She's like totally surprised. Like, what do you mean you're going to go pray with Tommy? I think this was a little too much for her. I think she's a little freaked out. Look at her face there.
Right.
She's like, what are you doing? So, she's like really unsure about this part. She didn't mind him reading or singing, but this bothers her that he's going to go up there. But here she smiles, though. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So, John, yeah, go ahead.
I like what Beehive said here. I didn't read it before when she first put it up because I was waiting for you to get to this image. I like what she said. She's like, did John really think Tommy was going to talk about the accident/murder in church? It shows us how out of his head John is. And I agree. I'm like, did he really? He couldn't even wait till like people were leaving, like, or at the end, like that scene. I definitely thought I was like, he's definitely losing his shit. Like he's not fully thinking things through because all he can he has tunnel vision right now, right? All he can think about is finding out what happened because he needs to know if he's like in trouble, caught, what's going on. Right. So that's all he can think about and focus, and he's not really thinking what the actual customs, tradition, mannerisms are, just like the social cues of being in the church setting. He cannot even see past any of that, right?
No, he can't because, well, think about it. If something horrific happened to you, you wouldn't be able to concentrate on anything. You wouldn't be able to focus on anything. He is he's actually almost like having a panic attack if you think about it.
Yes.
He's panicking. He can't think clearly. He's not operating the way he normally would. Let's put it that way. And that's why his wife is so confused by his actions, by his behavior. She doesn't know what he's doing. So, I mean, for John to get down and kneel and pray, right? It's bizarre. Wait, hold on a second. What's going on here? I'm having the same problem as before. Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Again, it happened. I lost the next picture. What's happening? Okay, hold on. Let me put that back there again.
So Beehive wrote, I thought he probably had PTSD after the way he reacted in the park. So that episode was a trigger. And then the thing with Angus, it's trauma shit show.
Right.
And I 100% agree. It's definitely like a trauma shit show. Hey, Mike Woo, what's going down? So, are you able to get it up?
Yeah, you know what it is? After a certain amount of images, I guess it's a memory drain. I'm not sure, so it stops. But yeah, I'm gonna get it up. Let me just yeah, 1 second. Probably have too many things on my computer. That's the problem. I have to take some stuff off here. Okay, but still, it shouldn't do this. I mean, they're only images. It's not like
right,
strange. But okay, I'm almost there. Okay.
So the interaction when Tommy and John when John is kneeling in front of Tommy, I found that entire interaction just very like a forced intimate moment that wasn't meant to be that way, and just how close they got, and the way at one point, like towards the end, the way he speaks to John and he whispers in his ear was just so devilish.
Oh my God, you are saying exactly what I was thinking. I was looking at these shots devilish. And we're going to show them.
Yes.
I mean, it looks like
perfect images.
It looks like they were going to embrace in like a lover's kiss,
yes.
right?
Yes.
It was really, yep, the way he pulled him in, the way he was holding him.
Yep.
I thought that it was going to go to the next level.
Exactly.
So we're going to show that now. So okay, so she doesn't know what he's doing, and so he's asking Tommy, what happened with Angus, and
Right.
he says, "Don't worry, I took care of it." And John says, "Well, what do you mean? What, was he dead?" And he tells John, "Look how close they are," and he tells John that yes, Angus was dead. He found him dead. So John is
Right.
crying, and Tommy's getting real close here. And
And he
yeah,
gives him the details about it, right? He pulls him in close
yep,
and he tells him like the actual details. He's like, took him back to his caravan and I lit that thing on fire.
yeah,
And it just John almost can't believe what he's hearing,
hmm,
right?
yeah. He
And
can't.
just like Beehive said, he makes it look like an accident, right?
He makes it look like an accident. And see, he says that's why he says, "John, don't worry, I took care of it." No one's going to know, and no one's going to care about this guy because people didn't think much of him anyway. But of course, John is hysterical, and Tommy can't console him. And Tommy keeps telling him, "Don't worry about it." And John's hysterical. How could you say, "Don't worry about it," right? Meantime,
Right.
picture what Fiona thinks. Okay, she's sitting there watching this, right?
Right.
And
That's her
Tommy leans in close and he's hugging him and talking. And she must be like, "What is going on here?" I
right. She's
mean,
like, this is the weirdest friendship from like they've been friends for what, 3 days,
yeah,
2 days?
yeah, yeah,
And she's like, what the hell is going on?
yeah. And then he's crying, and then he tells John to say, "Amen." So it's like they just prayed together. So John says Amen, and uh, basically, yeah,
Look at all those facial, like you can just see the guilt, the grief, the shock, the expressions. I mean, Andrew Lincoln is just, in my opinion, doing a fantastic, like fabulous, phenomenal job. Just you
yes,
can read all these expressions. It's like almost reading the script in words. It's just phenomenal because it says so much about what he's thinking. You can just read it. And
mhm,
yeah, I agree. Tommy is such a freaking creeper. The way he like leans in and says like the details of how he killed Angus him, like he knows he's torturing John in this very moment and they're in church on their knees.
mhm,
Like for him to like he could have just left it with, listen, we'll talk about it later,
mhm.
you know. So I understand, like I think it's crazy that John would even like initiate that conversation in church, but at the same time the height that Tommy takes it to, that level of intensity that no one really even knows what exactly is being said, right? And you just see this like intense moment. Like everybody else in church is thinking he's having this epiphany, this revelation, this coming to Jesus moment, and they're talking about a murder. And the way
Yeah,
Tommy details it is so torturous in that moment.
yeah,
And he's
that's
just
true.
holding him there because I know that John tries to get up and get away and he grabs him back.
Yes, that's right.
Like you're mine. And I think he
Mhm.
actually says that at some point in this episode. He's like, he's mine. I think he tells
Yes,
his wife that.
yeah. He said, "I'm in his soul."
Right. And that is just that's biblical in such a bad way in all the wrong senses.
But yeah, it looked like Tommy was almost like caressing him, like um, you could say making love to him in one way, and another way he was like mothering him or fathering him because John needs a parent.
Oh
There's
yeah.
there's a scene where he's laying, which we'll come to. He's laying on a couch. He's holding some of the kids' teddy bears, the stuffed animals.
Right.
There were a few scenes like that in the show where John is cuddling with a stuffed animal, and I was thinking that there's a part of him who feels very much like a child, and he wants someone to take care of him.
Right.
And in this moment, Tommy is taking care of him in Tommy's twisted way,
Right.
but he is taking care of John. So John has these feelings, these mixed emotions of gratitude to Tommy, but also He's afraid of Tommy at the same time, and for good
Right.
reason.
And I
But yeah,
think like that fear, we're watching it slowly unfold and develop
mhm,
as he watches and observes and sees Tommy more and more. And I think he also realizes at points that he let himself get way too vulnerable around this guy that he really truly doesn't know.
that's right. Well, we see that especially after the third episode.
Yes.
He realizes he's in hot water.
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, I think he's just very confused because he's really in a state of shock after what happened the night before. He doesn't know what to think anymore. And Tommy has complete control over him psychologically.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary about it. Look at the way he's looking at him here. Look at the intensity in this guy's eyes. He's like, you're mine. I got you.
Right.
You're
It's
not
almost
going
like he's
anywhere.
like, yeah, he locks in and like he's giving him that reassurance look like, if I told you I got you, I got you. Leave it alone. I got this.
But
It's
it's
very
almost like
intense there.
it is, but it also is like he's hypnotizing him at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think
Hmm.
about that.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got him. He's got a hold over him.
Yeah. And yeah, just me, I agree. John seems to be very easily impressionable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is. Well, I think it's because he's so traumatized also. I don't think John normally would be so easily wooed by somebody. I don't think so. I think it's because he's traumatized by what happened. And Tommy is taking care of it for him. And he's being like a parent to him. And I think that's makes him feel better about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so they leave the church, and again, they're still talking about it. John is still upset, and Tommy's like, "Look, I told you I took care of it already," and they keep talking about it. And John is just like, "I can't. I have to go to the police. I can't. I can't live with this on my conscience." And Tommy says, "No, you can't go to the police. Come on, I took care of it for you. At least wait 24 hours," he says. "Give it 24 hours. And if you still feel the same way in 24 hours, then we'll talk about it. But just
Right.
promise me you'll wait 24 hours." So,
But yeah. And the way
so
he runs and the way he runs out though, right? He runs out in this very it's a complete different attitude, right? Because for a moment he actually gets scared shitless, like, oh my God, if this guy actually goes running, like what am I gonna do? Like it's the middle of the day and we're in church. So he kind of goes out pleading with him. And then you just see how the manipulation like takes over. Right. Because at one point, I think John even like yells, he's like, I can't live with this on my conscience. I
right,
can't like do
right,
this. Right. And he
right.
like tries to stand his ground, and you just see Tommy take control and like give up this little plea act and kind of let him know, listen, this is the way it's going to go. You're not going to say anything. You're going to give it 24 hours. And he kind of like forcefully makes John take that ultimatum, even though that's not what John wants. And John
Yes.
goes along with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what's interesting about this actor is this Ewan Bremner. His facial expressions are unbelievable to me. Here, look at
Yes.
his face here. He has like an angelic look on his face. Look at his eyes. He looks like an angel. And then there are other scenes where he looks like the devil.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
what a great actor this guy is. I want to find out more what other work he's done because I have to see him in other things too. Um,
Right.
I think he's amazing. I mean, I love Andrew Lincoln, but I think this guy is his role is so enigmatic, and
Right.
his facial expressions, his eyes, it just pulls you in, really.
Yeah, the intensity that he brings is just amazing.
Yep.
And see there we see John is like just like thinking he almost like looks off to like think about it, but I don't really think he's thinking like, oh, do I really want to take this guy's 24-hour ultimatum? I think he's thinking like, I have no choice, right?
Right.
And then you
He feels
see
stuck.
Tommy give him this smile, that creepy
Right.
ass smile.
The creepy ass smile, it's going to be okay. Right.
Right.
And then he says, "Now, what is this flying here? Is it butter?" I
There's
couldn't make
it's
out what it
2
was.
yeah, I had to zoom in. There are 2 butterflies,
Oh,
and
okay.
I thought, "Well, isn't that symbolic? Because there's 2 of them outside." And he's like, "Hey, look, this is what you came here for." And he's, like, showing them, like, the nature, and I'm like, "This like, dude, this guy's so sorry." For him to just, like, give it, like, this huge ultimatum and bring this intensity and then plea and then twist this manipulation and still get to what he wants, and then just look at the butterflies that are flying by. Like, this is a normal day for me. The mastermind manipulation that I just pull on people. It was just and the way he delivered it as an actor, I know you were just saying it was great. The way he just switched on and off between
Yeah.
this entire scene with all the intensity between the church and outside. And then you see all of this and he's like, "Oh, look at the butterflies."
He
That's
said,
what you
"This is
came here
what you
for. Look how
came.
beautiful they are.
This is what you came here for." He said,
Yeah.
"You came here for the nature."
And look at John's face is so confused, like, "What the fuck, nature? What?" And then when you think about it, just the natural, raw way that he actually killed Angus, I thought of that too. I was like, talk about nature. There's a lot of, these because of where they are. I was like, that is just like you just see the fear. I'm like, this guy's gonna have more flashbacks in a second. I'm like, wow, he
Uh-huh.
just, yeah, he is such an intense, great actor. He brings all of this to the table. He didn't even flinch for a second. He went between all these emotions and look at the butterflies.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you're talking to a person who has really no empathy, right?
Right,
Somebody who is psychotic like that, who is an antisocial personality, um, they have no empathy. So he can't really understand how John feels. I mean, he has an idea how John feels, but he doesn't really
right,
understand it. And John is confused because any person would feel the way John feels. Anybody with a conscience, with empathy,
right.
would feel the way John feels: terrified, guilty, wanting to call the police. That
Not
is
able to sleep.
not able to sleep, not able to eat, probably. This is
Right,
normal. What Tommy is doing is not. Tommy is
right,
psychotic, and John doesn't know that yet. So John is very confused. He can't understand why Tommy isn't upset. Why Tommy's pointing out butterflies after they just talked about killing somebody.
right.
Right. So, from John's point of view, John is just very confused right now. Okay, so, oh, don't tell me this keeps happening to me. I think you're going to have to do the third one. My computer is just not cooperating. Okay, hold on.
No worries.
Let's go back out again. Okay, keep talking while I do this.
Um, oh wow, I'm drawing a blank for a moment. So, um, so we're watching this whole thing go down, right? And Fiona's left in church. Can you imagine what she's thinking? Like these two just ran out in the middle of church.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's thinking like what kind of moment, what's going on, what was said. I'm wondering like how long it's going to take her for her to kind of really ask him like what's really going down with church right now. Like, do you really believe in all of this?
Uh-huh. Right. Right. I mean, she probably can't wait to go home at this point. Right.
Seriously.
I mean, seriously, if you had a husband who was pretty depressed and he was acting strange, and all of a sudden he's good friends with this guy next door that you think is creepy, and you see him going to church and he's really embracing everything this guy is doing. I think Fiona's probably freaked out. That's what I think. I would be freaked out.
Oh, I
Okay.
definitely think so. 100%.
All right. So again, okay, we're back. Okay, so they walk back and then they see Fiona and Rebecca coming towards them. I like her umbrella. It's cool. It matches her coat.
Yes, I do. It
Yeah.
reminded me of like singing in the rain, like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really I liked it, and the color contrast too. Right? She's like trying to bring this sunshine and this light into Tommy's life, and the
Yes.
fact that it's like behind him, like trying to shine down. And so I thought that was really symbolic, actually, that the choice of like this yellow umbrella and the way it was done, it looked like, like she's always, in despite the rain and the clouds and whatever they're talking about, she's that little bit of sunshine that
Oh,
she's
I
trying to
like
bring out.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah, and I
really
love
like
that
that.
with
Yes.
Fiona. Yeah.
Yes, that's
And
exactly
then,
what it is. She tries to make everything better for Tommy. Tries to
right.
make him, like you say, bring the sunshine into him. Yes. Look at his
And
eyes there. Again, it's like this little angel. Look at that. Look at his
I
eyes.
know, right? He's smiling like he can do no wrong. And look at how she's
Yeah.
looking at him like, ooh, something funny. Like, this is so good. Look how innocent and smiling and cute
Yeah,
he looks right
he
now.
looks like an infant there, like a baby,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
She's looking at him like,
You're
"Oh,
like,
you're so
girl, if you
cute."
only knew. If you only knew. But yeah, he does this
So,
part very well, like Just Me says.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then here's Fiona. She's angry. She's annoyed. She's like, "John, what's going on with you? You ran out, right? What's happening?" So,
It- and
and
this
John
part,
is, oh yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
they're
they're like,
talking.
right. They're having this conversation back and forth, and she's like, so, like, what's going on, right? And he doesn't really know what to say, right? What are they? I forgot exactly what they're talking about. I missed this part of my notes.
Uh, I don't think it was anything that important, but
Yeah,
then,
I scrolled right over it. I think they were just talking about like what was going down in the church. Chat, help me out because you guys usually don't mess up on this, and I apologize. Um, but yeah, so they're talking, right? And he kind of looks like, Tommy's kind of dominating the conversation, and Fiona's trying to take over and find out and get, John to actually speak for himself,
mhm,
right?
right.
And
And she looks pretty happy there, right? They're having a
yeah,
nice conversation. Whatever they're talking about, who remembers?
yeah,
But
Fiona's really still, you can tell like Fiona's really trying to make sure everything's like
yeah,
going well. And then we
yeah.
see, Rebecca get a phone call, right?
Hmm. She gets a
And
phone call and she says, Angus died.
that was like a great impression. And the look on Tommy's face is like, huh? Like he
What?
plays it well, but then the way he side eyes over at John, and
Yeah,
John just like he looks down. You see almost all the color like leave him,
yeah.
and yeah,
Poor
he
John. Now you want to talk about a panic attack, right? So
right.
again, this is what flashes in front of his eyes, in his mind. This is the post traumatic stress disorder coming up. He's traumatized. So what happens?
You see
He
him fall
faints.
back.
He
Yep.
faints.
I mean, just incredible acting. He looks like he just goes straight down, and his eyes are even rolled back. And
Look at
Tommy's
Tommy.
just watching him. Tommy's like, is this dude really falling back right now? Is he really gonna pass out on me? Um,
Poor John. John couldn't take it. Couldn't take it. It was horrifying. Here he left London because because he was getting into these confrontations, and he figures, well, Scotland should be nice and quiet town. It's not going to be London, right? And ever since
right.
he's gotten there, it's been nothing but mayhem, right?
Yeah. Ooh, I like Beehive's comment. She said that the umbrella being all yellow and bright right after such a disturbing scene really jarred her as a viewer, and I
Yeah.
agree. Like the
Yes.
writers were kind of trying to make us feel the way John feels, like things quite aren't just right, right? Like something's
Hmm.
off.
That's a good
So I
point. I
100%
like that.
agree.
I like that. Let's check in with the chat for a moment. I agree with that. Actually, that is a great. I'm going to put that up here. Yeah, I like that very
So,
much.
and Tommy,
Um,
he goes down, and Tommy's giving him that stare that we see, and Tommy doesn't move. He just stares. And Fiona goes rushing over, absolutely like concerned. Obviously, she cares. She loves him. That's her husband, and she cares. And she's just like, what the hell happened? Then he just fainted. She's like, oh my God. But Tommy just stands back and watches. And it's almost hard to get a read on him, what exactly he's thinking of John in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he sees John as weak, obviously.
Yes.
Hi, Dieter. Thank you so much. Yes, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. Much appreciated. Hi, Mike Woe.
Oh, yeah, we got
Uh,
to.
let's see. Okay, so yes, he definitely has PTSD. That past episode was a trigger for what happened last night, and what happened last night was a trigger for the past. It's almost like a snowball effect, right?
Right?
It just keeps mounting and mounting and mounting. And with PTSD, if you don't get help, it doesn't go away on its own. It just gets worse and worse. Um, if John had gone to therapy maybe 2 months ago, when that first happened in London, he might be doing better now. But because he
Right.
didn't, it's just snowballing for him at this point. Okay,
Right.
let's see what else we have. Did John really think Tommy was going to talk about it? Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, Tommy's not going to talk about a murder or an accident in church. No way. But again, John is not using his brain. He's not thinking clearly.
Right.
Um, okay, so let's move on.
You can just tell they're both unhinged for the completely different reasons, but both of them definitely just not where they need to be mentally.
Right. Okay. Oh, and this is what they show before a commercial break. They show the scene.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so here's the scene I was talking about with John. So John is laying on a couch and he's holding this little stuffed animal. You'll see it in a minute. See right there. He's
Yes.
holding the stuffed animal. And many scenes in the show, you will see him holding a stuffed animal. And again, I think it's for comfort.
Yeah.
You know, there's a part of him, he's like a little boy himself. He needs to be mothered or fathered as far as Tommy goes, right? A father figure. He needs somebody to take care of things for him. And that's why he's with Fiona. Think about it. She is very motherly to him in a sense where she takes care of him emotionally. But
yes.
And that's what he wanted when he married her, probably. He was looking for that. But of course, that kind of relationship doesn't last because that's like a parent-child relationship. So she wants him to be a man. She wants him to grow up. And he acts like a child
Yes.
in many respects. So this just shows us right there that he's having trouble functioning as an adult.
Yes.
And so Fiona's angry with him for that. And Tommy feels he has power over John for that reason too. And he feels that he can abuse John and keep John under his toe, under his thumb, as long as he feeds John and gives John what he needs, and which is protection, comfort. Don't worry, John, I took care of it for you. You screwed up. You hurt somebody. I took care of it for you. Right.
Yeah.
So
the sense of security, right? Because it's like, like John's almost not man enough to be a man himself. So, I'll take care of you kind of a thing.
Yes. You're like a little boy. I'll take care of you. Right. And then, okay, the kids come over and he's just really out of it. I mean, he's just laying there like he's in such shock over what happened.
They're like running circles around him. And we've seen earlier, like he'd be completely annoyed by that behavior, or at least like stop and like, take a minute to breathe because they just were too loud if he didn't say anything. And he's just completely zoned out on this couch, deep in his thoughts, deep in his guilt, deep in his feelings, just trying to think, what do I do now? Is this real life right now?
Yeah.
I'm sure he feels attached to what he's, it's never gotten this far before.
I'm sure he's like, he is detached. You're right. he's detached from reality at this moment. He just wants to sleep and probably just sleep through all of this. It's too much for him. He had
Yeah, like
enough.
wake up. Yeah, I'm sure he wishes he could wake up on that couch and all of this be just a dream. But you see like the
Yes.
chaos that's running around him, and he's just on the couch in a whole nother world right now.
Yeah, it's like he just gave up,
Right.
you know. He just gave up. So Fiona comes over to him and here's mommy. Right? She
Right.
acts like mommy in this scene. She's talking to him and and then she said to him, "Oh, you must be upset. You must feel guilty about Angus." He says, "Why would I feel guilty?" She says, "Well, because you had a fight with him that day in the food mart. You had a fight with him. So you probably feel guilty that he died." And John says, "That makes no sense. Why would that make me feel guilty?" And really, he's right. That does make no sense. Why would he feel guilty that this guy died, right? Because they had an argument. And he didn't even know this guy, right?
Right. Right.
So it doesn't make sense what she says. She says a lot of things that really don't jive. Uh, and it's like armchair psychology.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
he's just, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the way that she kind of puts these clues together to kind of figure out what's wrong, it's almost like she's willing to do the work for him. Like, let me put all the pieces together to figure out what's wrong with you. I can spoon feed that to you, and you can say, yes, that's what it is, and then we can go from there. Like, she doesn't
Exactly.
give him an opportunity to really express what he really wants. And I think that's partly his fault because he doesn't express himself, but she's willing to put it all together and do the work for him. Like you were saying, like he needs a mother figure. He needs somebody to do things for him. And
Mhm.
she's even willing to give him the answer to what's wrong with him so that way she can figure out a way to fix him.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. Oh, I like what Beehive Girl says. The 1,000-yard stare. Such classic PTSD. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like
100%.
he's not really there. He's in his head. He's in his head. That's what it is. Okay, so let's see what else. So they're just having this whole conversation about Angus, about how he must feel guilty about it, and of course he doesn't
Right.
agree with her at all. He says, "I don't feel
No.
guilty." But okay, so already I have to start
Just watching their interactions, like at first she was like leaned in and then like he leans up and she leans back, just watching their whole dance on the back and forth of the couch, like their body language, it's almost like they're two like magnetic opposites that just kind of repel each other rather than attract each other. I don't
Oh
know if you noticed
wow.
that with the back and forth. So you can just tell like their energy, the vibes, their aura that they give off. At this point, they're just so toxic to each other. They're such on different levels that they don't understand each other. That while you watch them on the couch, like he's like buried in, she leans in, he leans up, she leans back. It's
Hmm.
almost like their energies right now are in such different levels and planes that they just kind of repel each other, and they're
I
just
really
really
like
trying
that.
to find some type of a balance where they don't have to really touch, but they have to coexist.
I really like what you just said. They were doing a dance, basically.
Yes.
Love it. Absolutely right. I can see that very clearly.
Oh, I like what Beehive just put up. She said it's funny that Fiona is trying to take care of his emotions, but she's so disconnected. It's almost um far, I don't know that word. Far cackle? Farcial?
Like a forest. Yeah, like a forest. Yeah, exactly.
Far?
She herself is so disconnected from what she's
Oh,
feeling.
farce. Yeah.
A farcer, right? Yeah,
Yeah, farce.
because
Okay.
she's just really like very disconnected herself. Um, she doesn't have much insight into herself or him.
No, you even see the way they sleep. She sleeps on her stomach, he sleeps on his back. They're like just on complete opposite levels of being with each other. Their opposite arms are
It's
up. They're on the
true.
they're very opposite from each other.
There's no spooning here,
No,
right?
not at
No
all.
spooning.
There's no little spoon or big spoon. There's no type of spooning in that bed at all. They have
No.
their line drawn down the middle. They sleep completely opposite of the way each other sleeps on top of that. So yeah. But I really like that. I thought that was nice little attention to details. There's a lot of stuff that you just kind of see in this show rather than here. I mean, it gives
Yes.
you a lot of great details too. I think the writing is done well, but I definitely see a lot of different details in their facial expressions, in the way certain mannerisms are, in their interactions, like we just said with the dance on the couch, like the way they're sleeping and laying down. So there's definitely a lot of symbolism in this, and exactly with the upside down cross, and that definitely having to do with the church and, atheism. So there's a lot of opposites in the show, and I really kind of like that. I like that we see a lot of opposites throughout every scene.
Yes, I agree with you. There is so much going on. And there's a book here and I'm trying to see what it says. Can you see that?
No, I
Roots
forgot to zoom in. I made sure I got it, and I forget exactly what it
Roots
says.
Glen Roots. Okay, it's very dark. It's hard to see it.
Right.
Roots Glen, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up later and see what that is. I'm curious now. I'm taking a
Yeah.
screenshot of it.
Let me
Um,
see.
but yeah, I agree with you. What I really like about this show is the nuances. It's very, very subtle. Certain
Right.
facial expressions, certain body language. There are things that are done that make you think, and you don't need to have any dialogue. You don't need to have anything spelled out for you. You could just sense it and feel it, and you just observe it. And to me, that's great storytelling in itself. What we didn't need to have a conversation here between them. We see it. Like you said, he's
Right.
laying on his back, she's laying on her stomach, complete opposites. They are not connecting. They are
No.
not understanding each other.
I don't even think she realizes that he's even losing sleep.
I don't
I was
think
like,
she's not aware of what's going on with him at all.
no.
She's just not tuned into him. Okay, so here again, he can't sleep. He's laying there with
Yep.
his eyes open, really stressed out. Keeps seeing Angus's face.
I thought it was interesting when he rolled over towards her that he
Yes,
saw Angus's face. I thought
yes,
that was interesting. Like, you've been lying on your back this whole time. Granted,
yeah,
you've been probably thinking about it, but we get the flash when he rolls towards her. And I
yes,
definitely think that, like, some of the trauma and PTSD that he has definitely has been inflicted by her. I think that
yes.
was definitely a clue.
I
Absolutely.
agree 100%, Jen. That is so astute of you to see that. I agree 100%. I thought the same thing. That it wasn't until he turned towards her that we saw the vision of Angus. And I think you're right. I think he associates trauma with her also. she
Yeah.
she she stresses him out. She
Yeah.
stresses him out.
I definitely agree. She definitely does not try to see him halfway. I know she doesn't see it that way, but she doesn't give him what he needs. And he's not really expressing that either, but she's not meeting his needs. They're not
And
meeting each
who
other.
and who is meeting his needs?
Tommy at this point.
Yes, yes, yes. Tommy is meeting his needs. Tommy is taking care of him. Tommy
Yes.
is soothing him. Tommy is saying, "Don't worry, I took care of it." She's not doing any of that. If anything, she's angry at him that he's not stepping up and taking on more initiative for himself.
Right.
Anyway, so he cannot sleep. He says, I can't deal with this. He gets out of bed, and the next morning he's going for a ride, and he decides he wants to see where Angus lived. He wants to see the burnt down his
Caravan, right? Where he lived.
yeah, his caravan, or a
Mobile
trailer, a
home.
trailer.
Yeah, Trello. I think
Yeah.
it just I think he just needed the reality of it. Like, he can't sleep. He needs that to just sink in. And
Hmm.
I'm wondering, does he need it to sink in that Angus is dead, or does he need it to sink in what Tommy did for him?
I think both. I think more to know that he really is dead, and also what Tommy did, because Tommy told him he burnt it down.
Right. I think
He
he needs
needed
to see
proof.
if he can believe, right, if he can believe Tommy.
He needed proof to know that Tommy really did help him. And does this make him feel better? I don't know. I mean, it's very tragic, right? I mean, look at his
Right.
face. It's tragic. So then John decides he wants to confess to the police. And he calls Fiona on the phone. He leaves her a message. And he tells her, he doesn't say why he's calling. He just says, I just want to tell you how sorry I am. Something like that, right? Do you remember exactly what
Right.
he said?
Yeah, that he's just really sorry for everything and that he really, really loves her. And I thought it was really sweet. It almost sounded like what you would leave for someone, like if you're about to you're about to turn yourself into jail or you're about to commit suicide, God forbid.
Right.
But that's what it sounded like it was a goodbye
Yes.
message.
It was
And
a
it was
goodbye
very sweet
message.
and caring. And he kind of like was just like, it's all my fault. I'm so sorry. And I love you. I love you very, very much. And he hangs up the phone, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we see him take off and go to the police station
Mm-hmm.
because he is just riddled with guilt. And now that he's seen this, Tommy's trailer, Angus's trailer completely burnt to a crisp, and he sees the police are on the scene, he knows this is serious. This is for real. This is something that he has done. This is his fault, and he needs to take responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So he goes to the police, and
Right?
who's behind him?
Oh yeah, we're gonna see it. Look at that.
Tommy's
Just
following
Tommy.
him.
Tommy is following because Tommy ultimately does not trust him.
No, he doesn't. Because he knows John is weak. He knows John is going to confess.
Right.
So John goes to the police and he's ready to confess.
And you just see this he's trying to put on that big boy face, like I'm a man and I can do this, I'm gonna confess to this. And he's serious and he walks in and there's no one in this police station. It's just empty. And then who comes out of the door? One of the guys from the Bible study club that he's seen in church, Bobby.
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 That's right. It's Bobby. What do you say? I'm Bobby the Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Because in England, they call the police Bobby, right?
Bobby,
They call
right.
them Bobbies,
Yep.
right?
Bobby the Bobby.
I'm Bobby the Bobby. So yeah, he's like, "Hey, John, how are you? I met you at Tommy's house, remember?" And he says, "Oh yeah, right." And what can I do for you, John? And basically, John's about to confess. He says, "I want to confess to a crime." And Bobby says, "Oh, well, if it's what did he say? If it's a
It's sexual in nature, then you go to a different department.
yeah, something like that. If it's a sexual
Right.
crime, like a rape or something, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you go to more detail. I thought that was the weirdest thing. He's like, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to go down to a different building. He's like, and then there's somebody else there, and I was just like, what?
Yes.
I've never been over there, and I have no idea what their laws are or customs. So, or to Scotland. So I just thought that was interesting, and how lucky, I guess, at that moment Tommy is that Bobby the Bob, actually went through that little spiel, because you just see John just still like mulling it over in his head and thinking like, what are the right word? Like, how do I start saying this? Right. Like you can
Right.
see he's like looking at him, waiting for him to stop. But while he's like looking at him to stop, he's like still deep in his thoughts. Right. And then
who comes out of the office?
yeah, right. Who comes through that door? There he comes.
Surprise, it's Tommy. And John's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" Uh, look at his eyes there.
Yeah, Tommy's giving him that eyeball look like, boy, you better not have done anything. I don't know what you did or what you were about to do, but you better be quiet. Like he's giving him that look. And Bobby looks at him like, hi. They're not making eye contact, right? And I think that was odd for Bobby. Like if I'm, you came in to say hi, it takes him a minute. And he doesn't catch on to what that is. He just thinks he's looking over at him. But the way we see it from the angle that the camera is showing it, you can just see that. What are you doing? Why are you here?
Right. Yeah, I mean, and he also has that look on his face, like we were saying, how 1 minute he can look angelic, right? His eyes,
Right.
And then all of a sudden he looks like he could just tear you apart. So,
exactly,
and that's what's so scary about it.
Yeah, and it's all those small facial details, but he does it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he really does. He acts with his face, with his eyes. It's really amazing, actually. Okay, we're back. And here's the next visual. Okay, so Tommy says to get Bobby away, he says to Bobby, I loaned you that Richard Ramirez book. Are you still reading it? Can I have it back? so Bobby says, oh, yeah, I'll get it for you. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, right? A very famous serial killer. So this is what Tommy's interested in. He's interested in reading serial killer books, and he gives them to the guys in the Bible study group. And this is what they do. They read these books, right? It's really bizarre. Okay, so then he look at the look on his face here. I mean, if that's not a scary look that you want to just run the hell away from this guy.
I know.
So he says to John, what are you doing here? And John's like, well, I came here. He says, no, you told me you'd wait 24 hours. This is not 24 hours. Look at his face. Look how angry he is. I would not want to meet this guy on a street by myself. No way.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely. You almost see like the anger building up in his face, the way he starts to talk and the way he actually like enunciates some of his words. You can see the anger like just starting to build up in him.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing here, John?" and
like
now
you said 24 hours.
You said 24 hours. It's not 24 hours. So then, so Tommy says to Bobby, "Are you going to go hunting now?" Oh, because Bobby came back and said, "Okay, I have to speak to John now alone. Would you excuse us, Tommy?" So Tommy says, "Hey, aren't you going hunting now?" And Bobby says, yeah. He says, so why don't I tag along with you? And Bobby says, yeah. He goes, but first let me finish what John is talking to me about. So then Tommy says, well, John can come with us, right, John? And then he smiles.
Yep.
So and then John is like, oh, God, I got to go hunting with these people. Right. So, yeah.
And
so
that definitely was kind of like, I don't think that Tommy 100% was thinking all of it. I think it just kind of all fit together. But I found it like quite interesting that of all the things they're going to do is go hunting. Mm-hmm. That's all he needs. And I think that's exactly what John is thinking. He's like, great. I'm going to be around people killing people. I already don't need to see more killing of anything right now. And you're going to take me around things that are being shot at and killed. And I just thought that was just so torturous on Tommy's part, but definitely fit into a masterminded plan. And he definitely did that intentionally.
Yes. Yeah. And the next scene, we're going to see what he says to John. And basically he's threatening John because he feels he can't trust John at this point. And John is starting to think that he can't trust Tommy either.
Yeah.
So they're on their way. Look how beautiful the countryside is. Oh, so nice.
Yep.
Oh, there's a lag with YouTube. Okay, here we go. Look how nice. Really beautiful.
And they drive for a while too. It wasn't like that was that close. They go in for a while. We're going to see it with through the different images. They drive for a while through that cottage, countryside, and it is beautiful. But while they're in the car ride, you can start to see, Tommy and Bobby are trying to have a regular conversation, and you just see the facial expressions as they continue on. And John is sitting in the back seat. And I wonder if John's thinking like, oh my God, what are they talking about? What are they about to do to me? Where are we really going? Like you can just see the panic start to build as they get further and further deeper into, I guess, the woods, the country, further away from home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Look at his face. He's terrified.
Right? Look at the way he looks over at Tommy. Andrew Lincoln, like I said, phenomenal job for this season. Yes. He's doing amazing with each episode. You can just read those facial expressions. Amazing.
Well, one thing about Andrew Lincoln on The Walking Dead, his facial expressions said everything.
Yep.
His acting was amazing on that show. He didn't have to speak. You just took one look at his face, at his eyes, and you knew exactly what he was thinking.
Right.
And he's doing the same thing here. His eyes are darting around. He's scared. He's really scared. So now they're coming to a clearing here. And again, the scenery is beautiful.
Right. You can just see they're about to I liked this view that you can see like the way everything comes out. You see like where the truck is, but they're obviously about to like descend into the woods, right? Because you
Hmm.
can see like this incline.
Yes. I
So
like this shot with the rear view mirror.
I do too. I thought that was an excellent job of cinematography that the director chose to show that shot because you
Hmm.
can just see he's looking forward but looking back at the same time, and you can just read through his eyes. He's thinking, I got to get the hell out of here.
Hmm.
I got to
Exactly.
get the hell out of here. And you see him
And
like slouch down. Look at him. He slouches down, kind of cowers. You would think those were walkers, right? You would think that Bobby and Tommy were walkers. They would like try to quietly get around and get away from them, like
yeah.
Rick Grimes. I actually liked the way I was like, oh, this is total Rick Grimes move. Like him trying to like sneak around. He totally tries to make a run for it.
Hmm. Yeah, he does. He's hoping to get away from them.
Yeah, like, you see him, he's about to start, like, running and be out, and he happens to look over his shoulder, and he sees Tommy, and Tommy is flabbergasted, like, completely be look how far away he started to get already.
Hmm.
Like, I liked that shot, like, you could just see, like, how just separate and how opposite, how far away he's just trying to get from Tommy, but
Hmm.
Tommy looks at him, and he's just like, "What are you doing? Where are
Right.
you going? You don't even know where the hell you are. Where are you going?"
Hmm.
And it almost like shocked Tommy that John wanted to run because he definitely figured that out by looking over at him. And I think that kind of like just puzzled Tommy. Like, am I
Oh
that
yeah.
scary? You're like, yes, dude, you are that freaking scary, bro.
John's like, I just want to get the hell away from you.
Right. And then they start walking, a little behind, and they're like talking about everything that's going on.
Hmm.
And I don't know, the way that they talk and their whole back and forth interaction, you can just kind of see that John really is not wanting to go along with this. He's really, really guilt ridden. He's really trying to stand his ground and let him know, like, I got to turn myself in. I got to say what happens. I'll keep your name out of it. Like, it's kind of a little bit nuts, like how he's going in on this part, and you can see how Tommy's like kind of just hearing him, and he's like looking over at him, like, huh?
Yeah. And now look at Tommy's face here.
Right. He kind of stops him and wants to like put him in his place almost and like, what are you, look, dude, this is not how it's gonna go down.
Hmm.
And
Now they take the guns out.
yeah, and then because Bobby kind of turns around and is like, they kind of have to stop talking, right? And he's like, oh, we're just, talking about this. And he takes the gun from him. And what does John say? I've never fired a gun, never held a gun, right? He doesn't know anything about guns.
Hmm. That's right.
And Tommy takes this opportunity to kind of show him what to do. And the
Hmm.
way he tells him how to like work a gun was almost like I almost felt like he was almost trying to like just kind of chip a little bit away at his manhood and kind of be like, remember who's like the alpha male here.
Hmm. Right.
Right. And he actually, as he's going through the directions of what to do, he's like, you cock it. He's like, you line it up in your sight. He's like, the one thing you never do is you never point a rifle or a gun in somebody's face. Right.
And that's exactly
Exactly
what
what
he
he
does.
does. And he holds it there, lingering for a minute. And the fear that just starts to envelop all over his face. And then he's just like, oh, I'm just letting you know, here you go. And then he hands the gun to John. And John's like, you see, like, look at the way his like whole body is like his hands go up, like he doesn't know what to do, like you're holding the gun at me. And then he gives him the gun. And I think John then holds the gun, and I think he's just shocked on many levels. Like, I've never held a gun before, and you just held it at me, and I'm pretty sure you just threatened me without saying that you're threatening me, but then you gave me a gun.
Right.
And it's almost Tommy kind of testing him, like, let's see how much of a man you are. You wouldn't do anything with it,
Right.
right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Even if
I mean,
I tell you how to use it, you still won't use it.
he was the prey at that moment.
Exactly.
he acted like he was going to shoot him, and then he gives him the gun. So that's very confusing. You're the prey, and now you're the predator, right?
Right.
John is very confused. He doesn't know what the hell to think. He just knows he wants to get the hell away from these guys.
Right. And I thought this was such a beautiful shot, the way they're walking through the woods. Look at that greenery, the way the moss is covered. And they're walking, and John's, a couple feet back, and he's walking there with them, right? And then
I just got to reload it. 1 second. Mm-hmm.
No problem. So, yeah. It's funny, since John is a runner, that's kind of what his response is always to do, right? To run away from situations that he's afraid of, situations that he can't really handle or deal with. So he's trying to run away, and Tommy kind of really confuses him, where he doesn't know kind of what to really do. Do I stay or do I go?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then we see them walking together, and I think John, as they're walking, and he just hears Tommy kind of switch into this whole different person, right? To walk with Bobby, like he did this and threaten him, and then here,
they told that funny joke,
telling jokes, right, as they're walking along, and they're all bellowing out these big laughs, and I think that kind of switch, like, really kind of triggers John, because that kind of like snaps him back to reality, where he's like, oh shit, I gotta go. And we see him dip off and run, like exit stage left, and he is out. And like, he's here 1 second, and then he's gone the next, and you just see him run. And the other two, they're laughing so loudly, they don't even hear like the branches crunching or anything as he like off.
And Tommy's like, John, where'd you go, John?
Right. And that's part of like the beauty and like the psychotic part of Tommy. Like, he really wants to get that like hold into John, where like he doesn't forget to include him. Like, they're talking about this whole joke, and he laughs, but he turns around to make sure John kind of feels like included, and he turns around and realizes John's out and is running. We don't get to see it, but I always wonder, like, what did he tell Bobby? Like, John just took off with it. I'm sure they was like, oh, I'm sure he saw a deer or something. But I thought that
exactly.
Was like, what do you say? Like Tommy turns around and is like, John's gone. What is he gonna say? Oh, he must have seen a deer. The dude's never been hunting. He didn't even know how to hold a freaking, a gun. Why would he be running and not? So I thought that was just, I'm like, Bobby the Bobby is not really the best Bobby, because like, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm like, bro, this just went right over your head.
Not only that, but Bobby the Bobby is reading serial killer books at a Bible study group. That's funny. So John is running. He's running as fast as he can.
Right. And he's running through a meadow. He has no idea where the hell he is. And he knows he's far, but he is running. And then he sees this beautiful, he's running for his life. And then
Tommy cocks the gun at him.
Right, which makes the viewers think, like, this is it. He's a loose end. He's going to tie him up. But then we see ahead of him, there's this huge deer, right? This, 7-point deer with, huge antlers. And, as John's running, he doesn't even realize Tommy is there.
Right.
Right? Until he hears the crack of the shot going and ripping through the ear, and he sees that deer drop.
Yeah.
Right. There's that beautiful deer, and then literally I got a couple of frames to actually show it, like, actually going down. And that's when he realizes that could have been him.
That's right. That's right. First of all, he doesn't hunt.
Right.
He knows that Fiona is against hunting as well. It's just not who they are.
Right.
If you're a person that's never hunted and you see an animal being shot, it's very jarring. But for him, it's even more jarring because of what happened the night before.
Right. There's just trigger after trigger that Tommy is setting up for him, right?
All violence for him. Violence follows him everywhere. So he turns around and he sees Tommy there. That Tommy shot this poor deer.
Yep.
And John is just shocked by it. He's terrified. He doesn't know what to think.
Look at that.
Look the way Tommy's looking at him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think and that's definitely like if you could just read, he's looking at him and he's like, yeah, that definitely could have been you. I hope you understand. And when I say I
Right.
got you, I got you. And I
That's
got you could be in multiple ways. Like I got your back, or I got you, pew pew, you're dead.
That's right. And that cold stare. I mean, you
Yeah.
could see he has no feeling for anyone. Nothing.
Yes. No, he
That's
is
the face of a killer.
right. And he is definitely making that known to John, so John understands that the man that he's dealing with, right?
Hmm. That's why the acting is so brilliant.
Yes.
So brilliant. Because I take one look at him and I'm like, this guy's a killer. There's no question about it. No question. And John knows it now.
Yes. At first you see the fear, but when you come back to this face from the other time we saw that John, this face is that understanding. I
Hmm.
am dealing with a crazy person and I need to figure this one out because the way I'm approaching it is probably not the best way after he just threatened me and showed me what he can do with that.
Hmm. Exactly. So they're putting the deer on the truck, and oh, poor deer. And John is,
Still,
traumatized.
yeah, still in shock that he's carrying this dead body. And that's the other thing. He's watched this body drop, and he had to carry it back. And we're gonna see when we get to the funeral, same kind of a deal, right? A body
Yeah.
that he dropped, he's got to carry now, and it's just that symbology, like the way you carry your guilt, that weight,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh, that's great. Yeah. 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 It's carrying a heavy burden, right?
Yeah. And in both situations, he couldn't carry it alone, right? Tommy was right by his side carrying that burden with him, whether it was
Hmm.
physically the body of the deer or Angus, or whether it's physically, whether it's mentally. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say Tommy's really carrying a burden, but he's carrying that memory that he actually, like, what, gets off on, right? Because he actually enjoys killing, where the
Yeah.
other one is actually being traumatized. Again, we have that kind of opposite effect that we see between the two of them.
Hmm. Exactly. Hey, Scarlett, how are you?
Hey,
Scarlett's in the chat.
Scarlett.
Um, and now Bobby says, when you get your first kill, you're supposed to. What did he say? They wipe blood on you or something? How
Yeah,
did
there's
he?
this tradition. He said there's this old Scottish tradition, and he recalls some old Scottish tradition, and you see Tommy's hand right in there, like Tommy's already going in for it because he knows about this tradition because he's from there, right? So he takes it, and he has no idea
Oh,
what's coming. Tommy just grabs it and just takes the blood and just wipes the blood
pours it
all over
all over
him.
his face.
Right. And he's in shock. He's like, what the hell? And Tommy's just like the way he's like rubbing the blood on his hands. And he's just like, what just happened? And Bobby thinks this is funny. They think this is tradition. Yes, you got your first kill. And for Tommy, this means so much more, right? He's like,
Yes.
you're wearing blood again.
Yes. Yes.
I yet again am here with you while you are covered in blood. And I understand that, like, that's what Tommy is laughing at, right? To him, this is an inside joke. Like,
Yes.
like the first time you got covered in blood wasn't a real tradition, but we're making this a tradition. Plus, this time it really is a tradition.
That's
Like
right.
this is just funny for Tommy, and
Yes.
John is just traumatized and horrified, and Bobby has no fucking clue what's going on. He's just like, yes, yay, tradition, first kill, and just the three different mindsets of what they're
Look at
really
his face.
thinking. And yeah, he is thoroughly reveling in this. He's enjoying this so much, too much almost.
And poor John's trying to wipe it off his face. Hey, Robert Saunders. Hi.
Hey, Robert Saunders, Senor.
Yes.
So,
Hello. We're gonna be talking about From soon enough.
yeah.
Right. Not soon enough, actually. It is. We have to wait till April.
Robert just had an awesome theory that he did a show on not so long ago. It was amazing. Oh, it was so good. It was with
Was it about Christmas Carol?
yes, the Christmas Carol and Charles Dickens.
Yes.
It was amazing. It was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. I loved it. I
So
thought it
much
was
love
great.
and respect for Robert Sanders. He is definitely the Frumley genius of us all.
Yes.
Him
Yes.
and Nick, right? Absolutely, him and Nick. They come out with
Oh
amazing
yeah.
stories.
Yeah. They have great theories.
Absolutely.
So here he's wiping his face. He wants to get the blood off his face. Um, what is Bobby doing?
He's taking a leap off the side of the mountain. You're in the wilderness.
I didn't catch that before.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
I made sure we got a picture of it. You can't see anything, but again, it just shows the separation between where all their minds are and where everybody is. One is like he just wants to clean the blood and the guilt out of his life, right? One has no idea what's going on. He's just pissed off the side of the mountain.
But he is peeing, right? He is.
Yeah,
I mean, I did not see this before. Oh my God. He is oblivious to what's going on between them. Absolutely oblivious.
And you see this snake, this bald-headed snake, just slither in for like
where?
No, I'm not talking about Tommy. He's the slithering snake.
Yeah.
He just like comes in, and you see how abrupt, like John just stands right up because he's just like, and like kind of looks at him and is eyeballing him as Tommy starts to just spew his shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, Tommy now says, look, John, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Yeah, right. But, I got upset when you told me you were going to the police. You said you would wait 24 hours. It was not 24 hours. John, you have to see it from my point of view. I stuck my neck out for you. I was being a good neighbor for you. Right? A good neighbor always covers up murders, right?
Exactly. I want those kind of neighbors. Shit. Like, you never know.
I was being a good neighbor, and you were going to betray me.
Right?
You were going to take me down with you.
That's what right. I mean by the slithering snake, the way he came in and he was able to twist this completely and make it like, John, this is, what are you doing, dude? Like, I did all of this great stuff to help you out. You can't betray me like that. I didn't mean to scare you, but I needed to like almost give you a little bit of a taste of fear so I can get some sense into you so you can realize what you're dealing with.
Look at his eyes.
I know. Those pleading guys, like, he just, God. Such a great facial. Like, he's just like...
His eyes are so expressive. They say everything. He's like, John, please, you must understand how hurt I am. Oh, I know. I'm so upset. And John's like, oh my God, please, I just want to get out of here. Right? He's got blood all over him. I just want to go home.
He's trying to how to read the room and figure out what's going on. And he's just getting all these... He doesn't know. He's just really terrified and confused.
These expressions.
Look at that smile. Jeez. He's like, yeah, you get it? You get it?
One picture is more bizarre than the other, Yeah. It's so funny. So then Bobby comes back. Let's get to that. Okay, Bobby comes back. He says, okay, Tommy, please leave John and I alone for a moment so we can talk. And, and then Bobby says, well, I think I can tell you what's going on, right, John? Would you like me to tell Bobby what happened? And John's like, okay. So he says,
like, what?
He's like, what? He's like, it was a hate crime.
Right.
And Bobby says, a hate crime. He says, yeah, John got into an argument with some woman online on social media, and he called her a bitch. And John wanted to come to you and tell you first because in case this woman files a complaint against him.
Yeah, the way that he comes out with the story and the back and forth looks that they have with each other, because he's looking at him like, yeah, this is what Tommy's looking at John like, yeah, right, this is, you want me to tell him what happened, and this is what happened, and John is just like, what? And of all the different accusations that you can have, right, that it happens to be that, and he kind of almost doesn't know what to say about it, and then he kind of just plays along with it.
Look at his eyes.
Bobby's face is like, what? He wanted to rat himself out? Like, he's thinking, that's what I mean. Bobby the Bobby is not the greatest Bobby, because just, yeah.
I mean, he knows there's something fishy going on, but he's not sure what it is. And maybe he doesn't even want to know what it is.
Right. He doesn't even bother to call him out on their shit. He's like,
No.
listen, just slaps him with a little warning. The way he looks back at John, I think is the next slide. It is like,
and he says to John, he says, well, John, I'm glad you told me about it. Maybe you want to send the lassie an apologies.
yes. Yes.
And John's like, yeah, I think I'll do that. Yes.
Right.
Poor John. He just wanted to confess. Oh, this is when he goes, it's a hate crime.
Yes.
That's a hate crime. Yeah, it's funny.
Yes.
I think we went ahead of the stills. I'll just.
It's all right. You just see all their facial reactions as they're going through the story, and just the confusion on Bobby's face, and then like the look of shock on John's face as Tommy's telling this story, and he's looking over at Bobby like, "Are you gonna believe this shit?" And Tommy's looking at him like, "Of course he's gonna believe my shit." And just the way they go about it, you almost see Tommy prove to John that he can handle and control a situation. And
yeah,
he almost
this is the police officer of the town,
right?
And Tommy's able to wrap Bobby around his finger,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that right there. That smile is a smile of "I told you so. I told you I got this. I told you so." As Bobby's walking away, totally buying this whole bullshit story of, calling somebody a bitch online and that being a hate crime, and just completely over it. And I think that's exactly the point where John's just like, what have I gotten myself into? Or actually, with whom have I colluded with?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And Tommy's
so John, here he's winking. He's like, see, I got you.
Yep, that wink, man, that's just so devilish. He just is just so devilish, so controlling, so like told you so, and that wink like I got you though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I got your back, John. You don't have to worry.
Right.
It's okay now. It's fine. And John's just like, I just want this to end, this nightmare to end, Right. So now they're driving back, and John realizes he's got to pick his kids up from school.
Well, at that moment, when he looks over right now, Tommy's actually asking Bobby, what did they find about the Angus murder?
Oh, and that's right. Right.
So, and then John like looks over at him like, what the hell are you asking about right now? Right. And he brings up that murder, and Tommy's almost like, all right, I proved myself once to you. Let me prove myself even more so that I can get you to calm down. Right. It's almost like Tommy's giving him a little bit more since he handled himself so well and kind of went and like let Tommy take control of the story. So Tommy's like, all right, you did good on that one. So I'm gonna go a step further. So he starts asking Bobby about what happened, or what's going on with the Angus investigation, and Bobby tells them that they're wrapping it up, that the kid was smoking, he smoked all the time, they fell asleep with the thing caught on fire, and kid tragedy, but it's ruling an accident, right? Nothing serious, not a murder, obviously. And John is like relieved and terrified all at the same time. Yeah, and his terror now is not about being caught, but about kind of just being owned by Tommy now, right?
Right. Yeah, he sees that Tommy completely took care of it all for him. And like I said, on one hand, I think he's appreciative and he's in awe of Tommy, right? Because Tommy's very powerful.
Right.
On the other hand, he's terrified of him. Right. So, kind of goes both ways. So they end up going to this bar called the Horse Inn. And that's when John says, you know what, I got to go. I got to pick my kids up. And he says, come in for one drink. And John's like, no, I really got to go. He goes, come on in.
Right. So he convinces them to come in because he's like, well, you got to at least help me carry the deer.
That's right.
The three of them, they have to. So what bar do you know that you can bring in just some dead animal that you just, and they didn't even gut it yet. Like you're supposed to like gut that thing before you even load it up. I didn't even want to say anything. I'm like, they obviously don't. I mean, I'm not a big hunter, but I know a couple things. I'm like, you needed to gut it there. But that's besides the point. So you've got this thing that's bloating now because they didn't gut it, and they bring it into this restaurant or into the bar or whatever in the pub, and somebody's like, "What are you doing with that thing? You got to get out of here." And they just drop it, just leave it right there, right?
Hey, we brought home the bacon. Now you have to clean it up.
Right. You deal with it. We bought it to you. You deal with it.
Right.
We're about to spend money and drink here, so and we bought meat, so you
That's
deal with
right.
it,
That's right.
right?
So again, John says, "Look, I really got to go." And Tommy says, "John." First of all, John grabs Tommy, right?
Yeah. He
And
was
then
nagging him, right? He's like, I gotta go. And he's like, just stay for one. And some other guy comes over, is like, oh, John, yeah, you gotta stay for a beer and hang out. He's like, no, I gotta get my kids. So Tommy goes to order a pint and he goes, he grabs his arm. And the way Tommy looks at him when he grabs his arm and then pulls his arm away, and John is just stunned. Because John's like, but if you got me and you're gonna help me with what I need to get home to my kids, and that is
this is the look he had on his face. Yeah, he looked like he could kill John right there.
Like, how dare you touch me?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he goes, stay for one drink, and then he says to John, "John, you just got away with murder."
Yes.
You just got away with murder. Said, yeah. And he's smiling.
And he smiles about it. And John looks down, guilty as hell, like is almost wanting to believe it, but kind of too scared to, right? Mm-hmm. That look on his face. You can almost see like the glare on his forehead from the sweat beating up, because not only is he like worried about this, but he's got to get his kids, right? He's also scared of not being there. But he thinks about it and he's like, can I really tell this guy no?
Right. So he's having a beer. And they're all sitting, the whole Bible group, they're all sitting there talking, having beers. And Tommy's ordering whiskey for the table. And he gives John an extra helping of whiskey to get him drunk.
No, he ordered apple juice. He ordered apple juice and then poured John apple juice and gave himself the double shot of whiskey. Or no, he poured himself the apple juice and gave John the double shot, right?
Yes, he wanted to get John drunk. Right. So he gave John the double shot and he got himself an apple juice. Right. And yeah, so they're all getting pretty drunk, actually. Yeah, you see, now he's pouring it in. Yeah.
Yep. And they're all having a good old time, laughing it up. And everybody at this point thinks that John shot the deer, right? Because Tommy's telling everybody that John shot the deer. He got his first kill. And we know very well that that's not true. So now Tommy is now taking it another step further, right? And really kind of getting him to feel good about himself and kind of feeling good about killing something.
And there's the psychiatrist
celebrating, right?
There's the therapist sitting there.
I think it's the therapist that reminds him, right? He's like, "Is Fiona getting the kids?" I think it was the therapist that says something to him.
It was a therapist that said, "Oh, isn't Fiona? Are you picking up the kids, or is Fiona picking up the kids?" Right here, he asks him, and John's like, "Oh no, I forgot. I gotta go."
Right? Look at that face, and he looks down at the time. He's like, "Oh shit!" Look at that look of fear. And he goes racing out, right, to go call Fiona and find out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he can't get a signal.
Yeah.
Trying to get a signal.
That's how out in the sticks they are. They can't get a signal, so he's trying hard.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine, like, how long they've been there? Like, Tommy knows. He knows already that he has to go get the kids. Tommy knows that he's keeping him out. So, like, you know that Tommy's doing this whole test on John, but he knows that this is going to affect Fiona. And he is totally okay with him and Fiona kind of falling apart a little bit or having this argument that doesn't even faze Tommy, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And he's like, whatever, she's the woman. She should be taking care of the kids anyway. That's kind of like his mindset about it all. And we see Fiona.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they make the phone call, right? And Fiona's upset. So they get into a fight, and then Fiona is...
But wait a minute, we're showing a different scene here with Cameron and Rebecca.
Oh, I think we got closer to the end. We missed the whole phone scene.
We don't have it here? Oh, okay.
I did.
Well, the phone scene is John calls Fiona, and she of course she's yelling at him, and she's like, I already picked the kids up, and where are you? And he says, well, I'm at a bar. Oh, you're at a bar, you're drinking? And she's really upset with him. She goes, I have to go to work, and you should be here with the kids. And he said, okay, I'll come home now. I just need to sleep a little bit. She says, you're drunk and this. And they have a big fight, basically.
Yeah, and she takes like some boxes and slams them down, and he listens to her get angry and slam and scream. Like she like holds the phone out, screams, and throws the freaking phone across the room. And he hears her have this whole meltdown, and he's like, Fiona, I'm sorry. And like she just picks up the phone and hangs up on him. Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
she
so
hung up on him.
right. So he goes back into the bar, and then we cut to the scene I think that I was showing where, or the scene that you had up, right? Where Fiona is now pissed off and she starts like slamming these boxes that, if you remember from episode 1, Fiona was like, what do you do with these boxes? And John was when John was in the towel and they had been talking about going to dinner at the Vickers. And those boxes were in the way. So now it's been 2 days and he still hasn't moved the boxes. So she's got these boxes and she's like angrily punching them in. And who's creepily watching like a stalker? Cameron.
Yep. Who does he remind you of? Of his father.
Exactly.
And Rebecca's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at Fiona? Okay, again, I stalled. Okay, hold on.
Right. And I think this scene between Rebecca and Cameron is so cringy and creepy. And there's a part that I just find, I don't know. I am a mom of girls. I have 3 daughters. I don't have sons, but I just found part of it just a little, I don't know. I found it weird and creepy. And I felt like Rebecca was just trying to test certain things that are mentioned in this scene. Like, I don't know. Like she brings up the MILF thing. She brings up if he's gay, right? And that she wouldn't be mad. And then the positioning that she takes, like as you go through the scenes, you'll see she's just really trying to get like a feel for what's going on with Cameron. And I think she's kind of trying to find out if however Tommy is, maybe, I don't know if you want to call it sick, right? That he has this serial killer urge inside of him, whether or not Cameron's got it. So you see how like they're sitting opposite each other and she asks about Fiona and she brings up MILF porn. And then she asks, oh, he's looking at, he's like, no, I was looking for John, right? She's like, oh, so you got a thing for John, are you gay? And it's okay. And then the next position, like she gets in and she like is on her knees and the way she has her hands up his thighs and she gets closer to him. And I'm just like, that's just weird. Even he looked like weird by the end of the show, like the end of the scene. Like,
yeah, right here.
She like leaned in and her arms went. I was just like, it's just weird. Like you're getting like, it almost felt, I don't know. I don't want to even say that because I know it's mom and I know that's not the intent of it, but I felt like she was just testing and all the innuendos that were mentioned in the conversation. It had me uncomfortable. I was like, why are you like that right now and mentioning all that stuff? Like you should be standing up and talking to him, not on your knees in front of him. It just looked awkward and felt awkward. And he felt awkward. And he was trying to explain her like himself because that was not what it was at all. And she kept just bringing it back to something sexual.
Yeah. It was a very strange scene. I agree with you. Yeah, it made me uncomfortable too. She's just very inappropriate. She has no boundaries. She doesn't let him have his privacy. She wants to know, what his sexual preferences are. And do you think she thinks that he's a serial killer?
Cameron or Tommy?
Cameron.
I don't think she thinks he is, but I think she sees tendencies, like certain little traits, and it makes her curious. Like she's, because of those little traits that she sees, she's scared and she needs to know if he is or not.
But I think this scene was purely sexual, though. That she wants to know what his preferences are.
Right. And I think that's tied to like when she reads the books. Like if you read a lot of those serial killer books, there's a lot of sexual things that are tied into a lot of the things that they do or the reasons why they do them. And I think that's like one of her first tests to see if Cameron is like his father, if he does have those things. Because I think those things did start, if he did kill 25 years ago, Susie Bassett or whatever her name is, that it probably was from something sexual. So I do think that she was kind of like
what books?
The serial killer books, like some, Jeffrey Dahmer and the serial killer, like those, because when they, in a lot of the interviews and the profiling, it, they'll tie those people back to having something to do with something sexual, sexual fantasies, or they
Yeah.
were sexually, or just something sexual is usually tied to a lot of the serial killers that have been highlighted so far in the show.
Hmm.
So I think that she actually obviously makes that connection. And I thought in this scene, she was definitely testing to see, like,
Hmm.
he's watching a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, if he is going to be like his father, is he like stalking his next prey?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I definitely thought she was trying to test Cameron to see what, like, if he was like his father, and I don't think he did. I thought he passed with flying colors. That's definitely not where he's at. Like, he definitely
Hmm.
wants to probably kill John, but the mom is thinking he's watching Fiona. He wants to do something with Fiona, and I think that's where she was going with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It was a very cringy scene.
Yeah,
I agree with you. It was really inappropriate.
I agree. I'm like, I know I'm just as a mom and a teacher, and I know I'm not a mom of boys, but I would never put myself in a position like that in front of any man. That's not my husband. It just looks so weird. And the way she, like, with the conversation, if you put it all together with the context, I'm like, that is just not appropriate to be talking about all of this stuff and being in the position and touching him the way you are. It's just not
Yeah. Yeah.
like you're like you're pursuing something almost like a cougar, and that is your son. Like, chill out.
Yeah, it was really cringy. I agree.
Yeah.
So we go back to the bar and John is drinking. He's really drinking now.
Right.
He's really upset.
And Tommy's just laughing it up as he's drinking his little apple juice and he's watching John drink. That's the whiskey, the double shot, and he just takes it down the hatch, chasing it with beer. And Tommy's just loving it because he knows he's gonna get wasted, and he can't wait to see what wasted John is like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Poor John.
Beehive Girl agrees. That was a cringy scene. All those sex questions. I know a mom
Yeah.
who asks her child some questions like that, and I thought it was creepy. Hell yeah, that shit is creepy.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And everybody at the table, right, besides Tommy at this point in the bar, they're all getting drunk. Look at Bobby's Johnny boy, right? They're all cheering him on. He's staying. They're all having a good old time. And John's loving it, right? This is the first time he feels appreciated, noticed,
Yes.
seen,
Yes.
wanted, right? Really valued. So, and he's, even though he's not the one that killed the deer, he's going to totally take the credit for it and totally
Mhm.
ride with the story because it really benefits him, right? And if he's going to ride with the fact that, you know, this murder was an accident and they're going to write it off like that, why not take the credit for killing this amazing deer with like all these points on his antler? Like, that's a crazy kill. Like, that's an
Right.
amazing shot that you even got that deer. So this is like a huge triumph, right, for him, especially like as a male thing, very like
Mhm.
Viking like.
Yeah.
And here enters Katrina.
Catalina. And John recognizes her from the food mart.
And look how she catches his eye, and Tommy notices because he turns around to see as they're
Uh-huh.
screaming Johnny boy, right? Tommy is watching his every move like a hawk, and he
Yeah,
catches
but
that he looks like that he likes her.
I didn't get that from that scene though. I thought it was that he recognized her from the food mart because he hadn't seen her since that time.
No, that's what. Well, John saw her, but when John saw her, you could see he instantly was like intrigued by attraction for her, right? And Tommy caught that. Tommy caught that he
You
looked
think
at
that?
her.
Do you think that?
Yeah,
Or
go
do you
back to the
think
next scene. You can see it because Tommy's staring right at him in the previous thing, right? And you see how he's like, "Oh my God, look at her!" Like the way John looks. Tommy's like, "What the hell are you looking at?" And in the next scene, like it's back to back. Tommy turns and sees that he's looking at Katrina.
Yeah, but I don't see it that way though. The way
Oh,
I'm seeing it is that John is remembering her from the food mart when he had the altercation with Angus because he hasn't seen her since then.
but you don't think he thought that she was attractive then? I
And not
definitely thought.
in that moment I didn't think so. Later on, yeah, but not in that
Okay.
moment. In that moment I think he just recognized her.
Okay. I
Yeah.
definitely thought the other way. I thought that he was like, "Oh, there's that look, that's the girl I saw from the other day. She's pretty. Like I like that girl from the other day. Like look at her, look at her." I thought it was definitely like kind of checking her out.
Well,
Like he recognized her, but on a, "Oh good, I'm glad she's here because I kind of liked her from the other day."
maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I just didn't
Definitely.
jump. I didn't jump to that right away, but you could be right. It could be both, actually. He recognized her and he thinks she's cute, you
And
know?
I mean, you might be right about what John thought, but I think the way maybe even Tommy looked at it is probably the way I'm looking at it because obviously what happens, like you see how Tommy like turns around. I think
Yeah.
maybe my judgment might be influenced by Tommy's reaction.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I
so.
think,
I think you're
yeah.
probably right, and I'm just jumping because the way they all kind of catch. I think that's Tommy that actually made all those connections.
I
Actually,
think so too. Like, she's at the bar here. I think John just was surprised to see her because he saw her in the food mart and
right? He asked for that.
Angus was like hassling her to buy the beer, right? And so he remembers her. And in a way he helped her, right? He told Angus to leave her alone.
Yes,
So, it could just be that or maybe he does like her. But we'll find out as the episode goes on, right?
right,
So he's looking at her. Yeah, maybe at this moment he does like her. I don't know.
right. And then
Um,
Tommy distracts him.
and then she comes over and if Tommy says Katrina, and she's serving them, and Cameron is there and he's staring. He's
Right,
staring. Cameron likes her.
right,
He has a thing for her, and he sees that she's being very friendly with the table, and especially John. He thinks that John is into her. So he
right,
comes over and he actually shoves John
right,
and he starts yelling at him to stay away from Katrina.
right.
Um,
And
and Tommy,
I thought that was a pretty brazen move on Cameron's part. I was
oh,
wondering
yeah.
how long has he been sitting there drinking? Because like when he left Rebecca, that he was headed that way.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, that I thought was pretty. I was like, that's pretty bold.
But the thing is, he and Katrina, I mean, they're not dating. Maybe they
No.
slept together, I guess, right? They probably did.
Well, I
I
think she
have,
said she hadn't, that they're just friends because she's too old for him. She's 25 and he's 19.
oh,
So
yeah,
she just wants to keep it as friends, but he likes her.
right.
Right.
So, yeah, he does like her. So, anyway, John is freaked out because Cameron pushed him, and Tommy's pissed off, and Tommy tells him to leave.
Right.
And so Cameron is very angry. He's like, I don't want to leave, but look at John. John is so traumatized by everything that's
Right.
been happening to him.
That kind of like knocks him back into his reality, right? Because he's been living it up this entire time that he's been in the pub and feeling really, really great. And
Yeah,
Cameron coming back in was just like definitely like a pin popping that balloon because here's the reality. He already thinks that Cameron thinks like that Cameron knows, right? That he
yes,
killed Angus. So
yes,
here's that snap back into reality. Literally with that push is like a snap back into reality, like
of
bro,
Angus.
remember where you are. Remember what you just did. You're still in the same town where Angus is, and and that face. And he's like looking down because all of these quick like extremes for him, he's trying to be able to manage them. He's going from
Hmm.
a high to an immediate low. Like there's really no balance for him. It's really a lot of opposites. So like they're just screaming, Johnny boy, and this kid comes and just shoves him. Right. And
Right,
when he sees who it is and what's going on, he's just like, snap back to reality. And
right.
like it just kind of crushed everything that he was just feeling so good about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it brought him back to reality and made him realize that he killed somebody.
Yeah, I like what Mike Wu said. He said Tommy's like a puppeteer, pulls the strings of people around him.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Very true, Mike.
Absolutely.
100%. So, okay, so Tommy's pissed off and they're all kind of, everybody's upset now.
Right?
Everybody who was drunk and having a good time sobered up real quick. Um, and then Cameron meets this guy in the street. And this guy turns out to be Angus's father.
Right.
And he's coming in for the funeral. And Cameron said, I always liked your son. I'm sorry. And he says, there's something I have to tell you. And then they cut the scene, so we don't see what actually happens. But we know that Cameron's going to tell him that he suspects John of killing Angus. And John is in the bathroom. He's freaked out. He puts water on his face. And Tommy comes in and says, John, what's wrong? Like he's oblivious to
I
John being
know.
upset. And John says, I can't stop thinking about Angus. And Tommy says, of course you can't. You're a good man, John. You're a
Right.
good man. You have a conscience. But it's going to be okay, you know. And John, do you like to dance? He said. I thought this was so strange, right? Tommy says, why don't you dance and have some fun? So John does what Tommy says.
Right.
So here there's like a small band playing some nice Scottish music, and there's John dancing. He's drunk and he's having a grand old time.
He
But what
looks
I don't understand is, yeah, it's like what Mike said. Mike said Tommy's like a puppeteer. He's pulling his strings, right? So
right.
he's pulling John's strings. Come on, John, dance, dance. It's weird,
Right.
right?
And he's pulling all the other strings, right? Between the Bible study club, his wife, the way he's able to just kind of tell his son what to do. Like everybody kind of listens to Tommy, right? In their own kind of way. Like he knows how to handle and say and kind of whatever he needs to, the right things to make the things he needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's just pulling the strings on everybody. I like that, Mike. That's a great
Yeah.
that's a great way of putting it. Look at this guy, how drunk this guy is. Oh my
Well,
God.
I like that you see all of this as you know they're acting like a bunch of wilding and they're having a great time like college kids, right? You see all the way behind the Katrina in the back right behind. You see that little bald head sticking up, and Tommy's just in the
Yeah.
background, a fly on the wall, observing and watching it all. And you see he's watching how John and Katrina interact, and he's watching all their little eye signals, and he's starting to see that there's like a little attraction between
Oh
them.
yeah. I mean, here you can definitely see it. There's something going on there. Yeah,
Right.
there he is. He's just watching. He's sober. He is sober, and that's really diabolical.
Right.
Everybody else is drunk, but he makes sure he's sober.
And usually like the sober person out of a room full of drunk like people usually doesn't have that much fun. And you see that like smile on his face. He's having the time of his life watching all of this unfold. He's loving it.
In a way, he's living through John,
Yeah.
right? He's
Vicariously.
experiencing John vicariously. He's experiencing an innocence that John has, because he doesn't have that innocence, that wonder, that sense of wow. He doesn't have that.
You're
I
100.
think Tommy feels pretty dead inside, actually, and I think John makes him feel alive in a way, because John is very innocent in many ways, very childlike. So again, I don't know what they're doing there. He's dancing with these people. He's drinking. Um, he's almost falling on the floor.
Right. And
Tommy's
Tommy's just
still
watching it
watching.
all. And it almost like it's a little disappointing when he gets a little sloppy, but Tommy's just taking it all in.
Tommy's enjoying every minute of it. Like I said, I think it's because John is very innocent in many ways, and he never experienced that. Tommy has never been vulnerable like that, and inexperienced like that. So John goes outside, and Katrina's there, and they're talking. And she's smoking a joint, and she offers him a joint, and they're just having a good time talking and whatever. And basically, she says to him, I'm up the road if you need a place to stay tonight. So
Right.
he looks at her like, oh, you know. And then the next scene, we see John is running through the woods again. And we're not sure what the hell's going on, but he's running and he's got the gun in his hand. I didn't see that before.
Right.
Okay. He's
He's
got
kind
the
of
gun. Oh, we see the deer. Deer is there.
right. He's having like these flashbacks and he's envisioning that instead of the deer actually dying, that the shot went through him, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
got the blood in his hand. And when he turns around, it's Tommy. And
Yep.
that's the dream, right? Because now he's been newly traumatized. At first,
Yeah.
he's having flashbacks of Angus. Now he's having flashbacks of the deer, and that
Yes,
reality that could have been him. And now he's actually thinking it was him. And I
that's
think
right.
maybe even some of the guilt from Angus is maybe thinking it should have been him, right?
I just think that he's so traumatized by what happened that everything is triggering him now. Everything. Seeing the deer die triggers him. Having Cameron push him in the bar triggered him.
Right.
And he's drunk too, don't forget. So, yeah, everything is triggering him. And he also was afraid of Tommy. On one hand, Tommy protected him. On the other hand, Tommy wants to hurt him. And in
Right.
his dream, it came out his fear of Tommy, his fear. Now, he feels guilty about Angus, absolutely. So, do you think that he feels guilty, that he feels he deserves to be shot?
Maybe just the guilt. Yeah. Or maybe not that he deserves to be shot, but that's where it's gonna end up. Maybe because he killed somebody, like he would
So
get. I
he
don't
just
know. There's
he'll get it, right.
right.
Well, maybe he's the deer.
Yes, or like exactly like he's the deer.
Hmm. He is the deer. That's what it is. He is the deer. So he sees the deer laying there dead, and then he sees the blood on his hands. He is the deer,
Hmm.
and Tommy shot him.
I think you're actually right. I'm gonna go with that. That he is the deer. I think that's a perfect analogy. Now that I'm watching you flick back and forth between the screens, I
Hmm.
think that's exactly what it is.
Yep. That means that he's prey.
As prey. Yep. I was just gonna say that. You took the words
He's
right out of
prey.
my mouth. He's the prey.
He's the prey, and Tommy's going to go after him. It's like a premonition. Well, not really a premonition,
Foreshadowing.
but
Like a
a
foreshadow.
shadowing, a foreshadowing. But from him, it's a fear. It's a
Right.
fear of dying. It's a fear of being murdered, killed, the way he killed Angus, right?
Right.
So that means Tommy's going to kill him.
Mm,
In his mind, he sees that as justice. In other words, it's justice. He's going to get what he deserves because he feels guilty for Angus. So,
exactly.
so then we see he actually was sleeping, dreaming, right? And
Hmm.
you know what I noticed? He's got all these scars all over him. Did you notice this?
No, I did then, but I didn't know what all of that was from.
I
I'm like,
still don't know what it is.
yeah, I was wondering if it was from his fight with Angus, like when he fell down on the rocks on the path. That's the only thing I can think of.
It's weird because he also has it in the front under his arm. He's
Ooh,
got scratches everywhere on him. Yeah. So he gets
interesting.
right. So he
Right,
gets up and he's drinking something and he's remembering. Tommy's talking to him, and then he remembers Katrina and that they were together.
right,
And Katrina comes in the room and she asked him if he wants some Cheerios, and he said to her, "Did we do anything last night?" And she said, "No, we didn't have sex." She said, "You kissed me, but you were too drunk to do anything." So he says, "Oh, I've never done anything like this before. I'm a married man." She says, "Well, you didn't do anything. You were too drunk."
right.
But he says, "Yeah, but I kissed you and I was with you." And he says, you cannot tell my wife I was here." And she got angry. She goes, "I'm not going to tell your wife you were here. Why would I do that?" Then
Right,
she insulted him, and she said that he's got gray pubic hair.
right. Like, you don't want to tell people I had sex with someone with gray pubes? I thought that was so funny,
He says, "I don't have gray pubes." She says, "Yes, you do."
right?
Yeah, she wanted to hurt him back. Yeah. And then he said, "Wait, you are over 18, right?"
That part was hysterical. She's like, "I'm 25." But I thought I'm like, well, a little late now, but thank God you didn't do anything if she was. And then he
Right,
keeps running out
exactly.
and he's like, where, right? He has to call Fiona because he's like, oh shit, but he knows he can't. He calls Tommy. And I thought, I'm like, wow, you're one lifeline, right? Or no, he answers his phone, right? And Tommy calls him to tell him that Fiona is at his house.
Yes, that's right.
And
Fiona's looking for John.
right. And John has no idea where he is. Right. So Fiona looks like she's furious. Tommy is on the phone and Tommy asks him right away, what happened last night? He's like, I went back to, I slept at somebody else's house. I didn't sleep at my house. He's like, I know that. He's like, I slept at Katrina's. He's like, where? He's like, Katrina's. And then Tommy asks him, the third question is, did you have sex with her? And John doesn't even realize the question, right? He just answers it like he's been answering the rest of the questions. He's like, no, I was too drunk. Right. And I thought that was weird how like he went through those three questions. Those were the first questions that he asked John.
Yeah.
Because he knows the only question that he did not know the answer to was the last one.
Right. Yeah. And now John doesn't even know where the hell he is, right? How's he going to get home? So Fiona is there, and she's upset. She doesn't know where John is. So Tommy's like, okay, you got to come home. She's here. I'll stall her as long as I can.
Right.
And John's in a panic. He's running and running. And okay, so Tommy starts talking to Fiona, and there's a picture there. It's interesting. Look at the pictures that are there. That's supposed to be Tommy and Rebecca on the left.
Right.
And then that's Cameron, the small one, right?
Right.
And then there's two girls. I guess that's their daughter when she was younger, and then their daughter when she's older.
Right.
Right. It's funny, they don't have a picture of Cameron though, that he's older.
Right.
I found that interesting.
I found that interesting as well. And that's Margarine, right? That's her name, Marjorie?
What's her name? Is it Marjorie? Margine?
Margine.
Yeah. Margine is their adopted daughter, Tommy tells Fiona. Because Fiona says, oh, she's pretty. He said, well, that's because she's adopted, he said.
Right.
Actually, Rebecca's pretty. But yeah, that's them. Again, I didn't look that closely before, but that is their wedding picture.
Beehive says her name is Maura Jane.
Maura Jane. Thank you, Beehive. Yes, Maura Jane.
Chat always got us. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so so Fiona, that's when Fiona said, oh, she's very pretty. He says, yeah, she's adopted. That's crazy. Okay,
the way that he said it too, like that was the quickest response. It was almost like he almost laughed off the disconnect that he has with her, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, right. We're gonna find out that she hasn't lived there in a while. And we don't find out at this point, but Fiona does ask like, where is she? And he says that she's studying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's away in college in Glasgow.
In Glasgow.
No, she's not studying. Wait a minute. No, she works. She's a teacher.
She's a teacher in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And then Tommy does what he does best, and he takes control of the situation or of the conversation, I guess. And he you can see like Fiona kind of notices, right? Because he starts asking her questions. And the questions here get really weird and inappropriate. What is up with these two asking about sexual things? Like, I don't understand what is on their minds, right? And obviously, as this conversation and they're going back and forth, right? Tommy's getting phone calls, and he's trying to like have this whole covert operation of smuggling John back into the house, so Fiona doesn't know that he spent the night at Katrina's.
Right.
And John is just running and trying to find his way back. And Tommy's doing his best to kind of manage both Fiona and kind of, find out little intimate details about them. But at the same time, he's like running back and trying to hide and keep his voice low and have this whole covert operation on John getting to the house. And he has about 5 minutes trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And again, look at that countryside, how beautiful that is. Yeah, so Tommy sits next to Fiona, and this is when it gets very inappropriate. He says, John had a really good time last night. He got very drunk. She said, that's not like John to get drunk like that. He says, yeah, but he was having fun. A lot of the ladies were interested in him because he's new in town. And he's a good looking guy. So, especially Katrina. Katrina was very interested in John. Now, that's horrible that he told her about Katrina, right?
Right? I said the same.
Uh,
I'm like, you want to talk about a betrayal, right? You
yeah,
were just
yeah.
talking literally yesterday about being betrayed. And
Hmm.
like, why would you set that up like that?
Hmm.
I thought that was very odd.
It is odd, and I guess he did it because he wanted to have something over John, but he tells Fiona. So is he trying to break up their marriage? What do you think he's doing?
I think he's definitely trying to sow discontent between them. And at this point, he doesn't really have a reason not to like Fiona. He just doesn't, right?
No.
You can just tell he doesn't think that the two of them really match well together. He kind of can just read their chemistry and see that they're kind of off and that they kind of just don't, there's something off with them, right? He's seen Fiona like kind of sigh and wish she wasn't going in the house, right? He's already seen that John is like kind of stuck in and being like Mr. Mom and like a house nanny, like a nanny, right? So to him, these are really like demasculating qualities, right? They really don't show out like a man, and he kind of wants to bring that out of John, and he kind of blames Fiona for that. And he asks
Right.
her about work, and he mentions like, oh, because you have John doing all this house stuff, and the more that John does house stuff is the more he's not going to feel like he's a man. And he kind of like starts to kind of really give Fiona his perception and opinion of how he thinks it's her ruining John.
Yes. Um, but it's interesting that I also think he knows Fiona doesn't like him. And maybe he's afraid that she'll come between John and him.
I think that he definitely suspects that so far.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he actually wants to, I think he wants to break them up. That's what I think.
I,
I think he feels that if he breaks them up, then he's got John solely under his thumb.
right. And I think that's exactly what he wants. And then going back to what like Mike Woe said before, like just continuing to make sure that he is the head puppeteer and can
Hmm.
kind of just pull that string.
Hmm. Exactly. Um, yeah. So then he says to Fiona, um, have you considered like getting some sexy lingerie? Kind of jazz it up in the bedroom, keep things interesting for John, because a lot of the girls like him here. That's basically what he says to her.
I
He
know.
asked. He asked if they still make love,
Right.
and she
And that,
says, she goes, Tommy, that's none of your business. You're asking very inappropriate questions, and I don't want to stay here. Where is John? Get John. I want to leave. She got
right.
very upset. I don't blame her. I
I
mean,
don't either. But
you know,
as she's trying to like set all that up, he kept pressing, like very, and he kept pressing, and he kind of just was like had no problems or quorums at all asking these questions like it was completely normal. And
yeah,
I almost forgot that it was like early in the morning because this is all going down, and I almost forgot like where's Rebecca, where's Cameron, like they're in the house and he's just having
yeah,
this open conversation in this open room that
yep,
is like the open plan of their house. Like you could come down the stairs or from the overstairs, you can see and hear what's going on. And this is
yeah.
like a regular conversation for him. And
Hmm.
it's very shocking to most people like Fiona, and she's just taken by this. And this was kind of like the coffin, like the nail in the coffin, right? This was like her last kind of straw with Tommy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very inappropriate. And it reminds me because Rebecca was very inappropriate with Cameron.
Right.
There are no boundaries here. This family has no boundaries. They think of nothing of invading your privacy.
Right.
And Tommy, and I like what B said. B said, yeah, he wants to sit back and watch the show. Yeah, because Tommy wants to create issues, problems, and then sit back and watch the show like he did at the bar when
Right.
John was drunk and John was dancing and flirting with Katrina. You're right. That's what he did. He sat back and he watched the show. That's what he likes to do. But I really do think he would love to see them break up
Right.
because he's afraid that Fiona will influence John to stay away from him. And that would be bad for several reasons. Because first of all, he has gotten to really like John. I
Right.
think he sees John as like his left arm. It's like John is part of him.
Yes.
And um and on some level it's like he loves him like a brother, like a family member, you
Yeah.
know.
He's laid
Um
claim to him as if he's blood. Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. So he wouldn't want their friendship to break up because of Fiona.
No.
And also don't forget they shared a kill together. So he
Yeah.
doesn't want John turning him in, right?
Right.
So he wants to keep John on his side. So, yeah, so this is the conversation. She gets very angry at him. She goes, "This is inappropriate. I don't like what you're saying to me. Get John." Yeah, she wasn't happy with him at all.
No.
I don't blame her. It was really horrible, actually. So she's like, "Yeah, I want to leave. Get John."
Right. I went through, you can see like there's that angry look because she's just like, he better come out here now. I'm trying to leave. This guy is
Right.
way out of line, inappropriate.
So John is still running home, running back, and he tells Tommy, "Okay, I'll be there." Oh, and then he meets this woman. This is so bizarre. So he he climbs the fence into this woman's property, and she says, "I'm calling the police." He says, "Ma'am, please help me. My wife is having a baby. I got to get home." His
And that
wife's
was
having a
so
baby,
funny. And
and
she
this
just
lady,
said him.
yeah, yeah, she's so nice. She drives him home. In the meantime, she's looking at the serial killer books that Tommy has.
And yeah, and I thought it was crazy. She opens in the next I think it's the next slide. You can see she opens it and Tommy has it bookmarked. And there's
Yeah.
these three girls that were killed in their unsolved murders. And of course,
Ah,
your mind goes straight to the little shed and that treasure box of all of his trophies. And
yeah.
it makes you wonder, are those women that he's killed before?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they could, especially the one on the left, the blonde, because he likes blondes, he
Right,
said.
right.
But look at the bookmark. The Lord grants favor and honor.
Yes,
He has a bookmark like that in a serial killer book.
right, right.
He's looking for
And
salvation.
and it almost feels like somebody had mentioned it in the comments earlier, right? That Tommy might feel like he's doing the Lord's work. So
Hmm.
if he's killing people thinking like he's doing the Lord's work, then, or at least justifying it as such, that bookmark fits perfect, right? That kind of like holds that in place right there.
Yes, absolutely. Like with Angus, for instance, right?
And, yeah, and taking the cross.
Angus was this horrible person, so he did a good deed by getting rid of him.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, here's a close up. So the murder of Sophie Hatby remains one of Glasgow's haunting unsolved cases. Sophie Hatby, that's interesting. I wonder if we'll find out that he killed this person.
That's what I want to find out. I'm like, besides everything that's going on with them, I feel like there's some type of a murder mystery that's still like underlining in this show. I mean, with all the stuff with the murder
Absolutely.
stuff, so I'm like, that
Oh yeah.
definitely gives them a little bit this whole other intrigue to the show because you're so distracted with everything that's going on, you almost
Yeah.
forget there's women that have been or people that have been murdered that we're still looking for that is still unsolved.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right. And it brings back the one Susie Bissett. She's probably in that book too, for all we know.
right. And I thought it was interesting that Fiona picked it up. I don't know if that's could possibly be foreshadowing since we know Fiona doesn't like Tommy. Will she like dig into Tommy being that she's, got access to people that know about writers or have written other books? Could she figure out or possibly do any research to tie any of those murders to Tommy?
That's
If
a
she,
very good point. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because why would she pick that book out of all the books that were there, right?
right.
So, yeah, it's like she senses something about him. She
Yes.
senses it. So he says, "Okay, John's in the shower." He tells her, and
Right.
he'll be coming out soon. Meantime, meantime, Cameron and Rebecca are home, like you said. They could have heard that whole conversation.
Right. Right. Which again, I thought that was just so weird.
Mm-hmm. Very weird. Um, okay, so this woman drives John back, which is so nice of her, right?
Right.
And
While
then
he's
he
got this
just
vomit stain on him, it's like he must stink right now.
and he just like runs out of her car and he leaves the door open.
Right? I thought that was the
Yeah,
funniest part.
he
He was
left the door open and he goes, "Thank you." He says, "Thank you so much," and he just runs out.
I
This
thought that
woman
was
was so nice to
terrible.
drive him home, and that's how he treats her. Can you
Right?
imagine? So Tommy sees him coming, and and he's like, "Okay, good, good, come." Right? Oh, and he stops there. That's like a not a whirlpool. What is that? A
A
sauna?
hot, a hot tub, I
Hot
think.
tub. Thank you. A hot tub. Right. Which is so bizarre that they have a hot tub.
Right?
Okay, one second. Okay.
So here John comes running, right? He's running through, and
Mm-hmm.
again, Tommy's on the phone with him because Tommy's about to call and be like, "Where are you?" And John's like, "I'm here." And Tommy kind of like flags him through and gives him like the clear that he can come through. And
Mm-hmm.
Tommy's just delighted. Tommy is thoroughly impressed that, he's smiling from ear to ear. He's looking out the window on the phone. He's just impressed that this kid pulled it off, that John made it all the way there. And I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking like, wow, all that running has paid off because he made it here because he knows how far Katrina lives. He knows.
Right.
So he's like, man, this might be hard. This guy's really fighting to make sure he gets back here and doesn't get caught. And I
Uh-huh.
tell you, just finds this whole thing very, very interesting. Look at that face. Look at him. He's just reveling in this right now. He set this up. In my opinion, he set this whole thing up and kind of just made he might not have set this up like completely masterminded it, but when he saw these little pieces, he definitely made sure they all connected and kind of fell into the position that he wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you mean in the bar when he orchestrated getting
Yes.
them together?
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
now in the follow through, I think like he's
Mm-hmm.
like just happy. He's like, wow, John actually is really busting his butt to get here and running really fast. Like he got here, like the way Tommy looks out the window with this like shit-eating grin of like pride. Like he's so
Mm-hmm.
happy that John made it. And I
Right.
just thought that was like, wow. Yet another test. Like, can you
Yeah,
follow through and get here? How much do you really love her? How much do you really not want to get caught?
that's
Um,
right.
so
Yeah. Yeah, he's really something else. He tells John to take his clothes off. He said, "Because I told you you're taking a shower." And
right.
then he takes this glass of water and he throws it on John's face.
That was
He just throws the water on his face.
amazing. At that
And
point,
you
that is 100% believable now.
Yeah, look at that. But you know what's funny? I noticed there was a theme of this earlier in the episode when he was in the bathroom. He was washing his face. He was putting cold water on his face. Here, Tommy threw cold water on his face. And the show is called Cold Water. So I kind of wonder, like, how is this tying in? Is this mean like a shock? Because we know cold water can be shocking if somebody, just
Absolutely.
splashes cold water on their face. So this really means shock. It's shock. John is traumatized. He's in shock constantly.
100%.
So that cold water is just a big shock to his system. So yes, I like the way they threw that in there.
I did too.
So then he comes out and he pretends he came out of the bathroom and he's like, "Oh, Fiona, hello." And
The line, it would have been so believable if we would have just left it there. Like, oh yeah, but he's like, that's a really great shower. God, man, I Fiona, we should get one just like it. Like, that's the part that I'm like, dude, you just gave yourself up after all that running. Shut the hell up. Like, you could have gotten away with it. Then you said that bullshit. And then Tommy is like, oh yeah, it's a something something quadretro. Like, this is the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are the worst. You guys are so close to pulling this off. And then you go with that line, really? A quadratro? I was dying. It was hysterical. Oh my God.
And of course, she's not buying any of it. And she
No, look at
storms
her
out of
face.
there. Yeah.
And then Rebecca's like,
She winks at him.
She winks at John. He's like, what that? Which I also thought was inappropriate. I'm like, like you didn't wink at your husband, you wink at John. I'm like, oh God.
And she also kissed John on the mouth when they first came over the first time, remember?
I saw that and I thought that was weird. Yeah.
And she kissed Fiona on the mouth too.
Yeah. I was like, what kind of vibe are we going for? The first time I saw it, I was like, where's this going to end up?
Yeah. Yeah. You just meet these people and you're kissing them on the mouth, right?
Right.
So anyway, so John is like, okay, I got to go. And Tommy's like, look, I got your back. Don't worry. Everything is okay. Look at his eyes.
Even the way
John, I love you. Don't worry. It's all wonderful. Right.
Do you see the way he touches his face too?
Yes. Yes. Look at that.
So creepy. Yeah. And
that was
creepy. Take his hand to remove it. And I was like, oh my God, no boundaries. They do
no boundaries.
Invasion of personal space, no boundaries. And I thought this was like, before I couldn't help but notice that John didn't read certain cues. And here I'm like, Tommy's just making sure that he is completely making him feel uncomfortable in order to make him feel comfortable, which is the insanity of that cycle. I'm going to make you feel so uncomfortable until you feel comfortable.
But he's also caressing his cheek. He's like, nurturing him. But it's also a very sexual gesture.
Yes.
It's kind of like a combination of sexuality and mothering. And I think it's very confusing for John and for anybody for that matter.
Yes.
But John especially, he's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. It's almost
John.
Like he's like raising him in blood, right? He's like,
yeah. So here he comes in the house. There's his kid.
Did you wash your hands, Dieter says.
What?
Dieter put in the chat, did you wash your hands, ill?
That's right, Dieter.
At least
better wash those hands. Right? Oh my God. Yes, did he wash his hands? Anyway, John comes in and of course she's pissed off and she's like, okay, who's Katrina? Who is she? Right. And John's like, oh, you mean the one at the food mart? She says, you know who I'm talking about. Tommy told me everything. And of course you can imagine how John feels, right? Tommy told me. And John's like, what?
Yeah, he tried to play dumb and she didn't buy that for nothing. And then he almost got shocked again with some, wait, he betrayed me? Like he just helped me. Like it's so confusing to John, right? Because he's like, how did he tell you? But he just helped me. Like it's very confusing to John. And then he gets angry and defensive, right?
But it's interesting because abusers will do that. When you're abused, you're either treated like it's like you're a newlywed, right? You're on your honeymoon, right? Or you're terribly battered by the person, right? Oh. And that's what Tommy is doing. Tommy is caressing his face and John, you're wonderful. You're a great guy. I got your back. The honeymoon phase. Everything is wonderful. We're together. We're friends. And then he abuses him by battering him, by intervening in his marriage.
Right.
So it's like a vicious cycle. So then John, let's say Fiona would leave him. Let's just say she did. He would go to Tommy crying. Like, why would you do that? Why would you tell her that? Oh, John, she really wasn't good for you anyway. You weren't happy with her. You're happy with Katrina, right? Something right. Like that. But that's what an abuser does. They want to get you alone. They want to have you to themselves. I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to break him up. He wants John for himself. So he's denying everything, of course, and she says, "Oh, you were with her. I know you were with her." He says it's not true, and then he says, you get angry with me. I just noticed they have paneling on the wall there. Isn't that wild?
Mm.
Paneling, because that's like from 1970s, right?
70s, right?
Yeah. So she's saying to him, I'm not stupid. I know what's going on. And he said, you want me to get out. You want me to have friends. And then when I'm out and I'm having friends and I'm having fun, you don't like it. He says, what do you want from me? And then she really lets him have it. She said, I want a man. What did she say?
So I'm tired of being married to a man that is useless and
Does nothing
does nothing.
and
Useless and
does
does
nothing.
nothing. That's right.
Right. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of being with a man who is useless and does nothing. That's right. So then she storms out. And that was quite a fight that they had there. And then we get to the end. Now, when John came in the house, the cat ran out at the same time. They have a black cat. And the cat happens to come over to Tommy. And Tommy picks up the cat. The cat's name is what's the cat's name?
Harley Quinn.
Harlequin, right? And he's got a little heart there in his collar.
Oh.
And he's like, "Hello, Harlequin," and Tommy starts choking him. This poor cat, and he's enjoying it. Look at his face; he's like in ecstasy here. And of course, killers do that. They'll kill anything. They'll kill. In fact, children who are serial killers in the making, they first start by torturing animals. That's what they do. They kill animals. So if you ever see a child hurting an animal, that's a very bad sign right there.
Right.
So then Rebecca calls him and she goes, "Tommy, what are you doing?" So he lets the cat go, thankfully. He doesn't hurt the cat. And he's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm hanging out." And she knows something's up. She sees it.
Yeah, look at that
So
face.
she knows something's going on with him. So he goes in, he follows her in the house, and
you can see he's just thinking about it. He's like, damn. Like he's reminiscing and remembering the kill that he could have just had.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Right?
angry. He was looking forward to that kill.
Exactly. And it takes him
was
that
really
extra second.
he
But
was really savoring it.
I think at this moment, though, like that moment where we see her standing there, we really get some insight. Like we already got some creepy vibes, but now we kind of know that she knows about Tommy, right? Like she caught him definitely strangling the cat. She stopped it and he kind of tries to play it off. But with that stare and the way she talks to him, she's like, let's go. Like you know that she knows. And at this point, this is where we kind of realize that she is either enabling him or complicit to his actions and behavior because she definitely knew. And even though, but like the way she's sitting so proper, just sitting there. And I thought it was also ironic of all things to be doing. She's writing her sermon that she's about to, that she's going to be preaching. Right. You're going to, this show does such a great job of all this contrast, right? And showing all this opposites. I thought that was just dynamic.
Yeah, she's sitting there, and he said something happened, and she said, "Well, that's what I thought. That's what I was afraid of." She said, "Let me finish my sermon, and we'll talk later." That's what she says to him.
Right.
And this is how the episode ends. So she definitely knows something's up with him. How much does she know? That we don't know yet, but she knows something's going on. And if he hasn't done it in many years, this would be very shocking for her, right?
Right.
So we don't know how long it's been. But I think it's been a while, based on what Cameron said, that Dad is different. John is bringing something out of him.
And I definitely think that Cameron might be onto something, and she's definitely catching on at this point. That's when she's like, I figured this would happen. Like this is definitely out of the norm having this new person in here that is affecting Tommy, or that Tommy's taking to the way it is. Because it looks like everybody that's in town that are all part of the Bible club or the boys club, that they've all been there, right? They have roots in that town. And here
Mm-hmm.
John comes in and definitely is the trigger. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, yeah, Cameron caught on to it and she's now catching on to it. She's just,
Yeah.
neither of them know how bad it is, and Cameron has no idea what it is. He thinks it's all
No.
John. And he
Right.
doesn't realize that that's a trigger for something that's already inside your dad, nothing that John
Mm-hmm.
bought to your dad.
That's right. Right. Yeah, it's fascinating how John is able to trigger him and he's able to trigger John at the same time.
Right.
They actually are the opposites and yet they complement each other, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because Tommy wants to be good and John needs to be bad. Not wants to be bad, but needs to be bad.
Right.
Because John plays it safe all the time. He buries his anger. He swallows his anger. And that's why he has such angry men constantly in his face.
Right. It's almost like because he buries it, it's still there. Like it's attracted to him,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it's in his subconscious mind.
Yes.
And it comes out. And these men who are angry see that John really is angry, but he doesn't want to express it.
Right.
So
The only time,
they'll be in his face. They will try and provoke him to get a reaction out of him. And he's too afraid to have the reaction.
well,
But
yeah, think
he
about
sees
the
a strength. I'm
right.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So think about the time that he actually did let himself go and
Mhm.
his reaction. He wound up killing Angus.
Right.
Like, that's how far his limit went. All this other time he stopped, he's run away, he's kind of let it go. And in that one situation, it was dark late at night, no one was around, and he couldn't really get away. And it was kind of like
Mhm.
his life or mine. And
Yep.
he kind of really took it that far. And
He
now,
did.
yeah, now that's like he was always scared of could he be that, and he instantly became that. And it's,
Hmm.
definitely been pushed. And like you said, he's found this as like a strength.
Hmm. And that's why he likes Tommy because he sees it in Tommy.
So just as much as we could say that Tommy's like triggering or John is triggering this in Tommy, Tommy is really triggering and helping bring this out of John as well.
Yes, he's helping John heal in a very strange way.
Yeah, very strange way.
And John is helping Tommy find salvation.
Yes,
So it's very interesting the way they connect with each other. And um
it's
yeah.
it's interesting how both women though are trying to be the salvation and the problem solver and the person that can help take care of each of their men, but their men don't look to them for that salvation, at least not anymore.
No, I mean, well, what we see as in the next episode, Rebecca does mother him, though. She does. She is motherly towards him, while Fiona is not motherly towards John.
No, she's starting to get meaner towards him. I mean, look how she just snapped, calling him useless and
Yeah.
good for nothing. So she's starting to hit her limit, where Rebecca is not hitting her limit. She's just starting, right? She's just starting to deal with this again, and she kind of knew that this would be coming, and she would have to play this role. Where for Fiona, this is unexpected. Even though this has been constant with John and their marriage and the way things are set up, this isn't the role that she expected it to remain as. Where
Right.
Rebecca's been waiting for, because she already can see these tendencies in Tommy and really probably knows things. So she's been waiting and is definitely more prepared for dealing with what might happen, where Fiona is not. Fiona, even though
Yes.
this has been foreseen and you can see this coming, she's really not looking to find a solution for
Hmm.
it. She's kind of just hoping that it fixes itself. And if not, like she's kind of going to be done with it.
Well, she doesn't want to take care of John. That's the thing. She wants John to stand on his own 2 feet, while
Right.
Rebecca wants to mother him, Tommy, because she's afraid of his rage. She's trying to calm him down. She's trying to soothe him, I think.
Right.
And again, we don't know the whole point of her being a vicar. How long has she been a vicar? How
Right.
long have they been going to church? We don't know. This could be going on for years for all we know.
Hey, Debbie Eddie.
Oh, hi, Debbie. How you doing?
She just popped in.
Yeah. So, we don't know exactly how long it's been going on for, but we'll find out soon enough, right?
Right.
so, so that's episode 2. Are you ready to start episode 3?
I don't know if we can. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning for me. Do you want to save episode 3 for another night?
Sure. We could do it next week. You want to do it next week? We could
Yeah.
do 3. We could do 3 next week. I mean, really, it's true. I mean, these episodes, there's a lot that goes on, and it's hard to do 2 episodes in one night, I think.
It is only because I do have to work in the morning.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. No, no, me too. Me too. I have to be at work too. So let's
Well,
plan next week we'll do episode 3.
okay.
We'll just do that.
All
And I
right.
think we'll just do one each week. That's fine.
All right. Yeah, because
But
we've
as
been going
far
for a while. There's been so much to talk about. We've been really
I
getting
know.
into it, and the chat's been great with some of the stuff in here. So yeah,
Yeah, we're on
I don't mind
3 hours.
doing one. Yeah, 3 hours on the one episode. I don't mind. Yeah. If I wasn't
Okay.
working tomorrow, I would say let's keep going. But just because I know we both have to work, I wouldn't mind saving the next episode for next week, or if you're
Yeah.
do it any other time.
Oh, I'm fine with it. That's fine. Sure.
Okay.
No problem. Everybody, I'm so glad you all came. And I hope that you're enjoying the show as much as we are. I mean, I think we really, we really look into it. We're not just looking at dialogue. We're not just looking at the story. We're looking at those little innuendos that most people might not see, right? Those
Right.
facial expressions, the eyes, the little things that happen. John holding the stuffed animals, the little
Right.
things that we see that really tell the story in itself. And I'm enjoying it. I do like it. I like
I
the
do
show.
too. And I love how we're breaking it down and how we're catching all of these things. I think it's really important to highlight really what's going on. And it kind of gives a lot of context, even though there's a
Mhm.
lot of dialogue and but the actors are delivering so much more beyond the dialogue, right? With all their nuances and all their facial expressions. We really can read so much more into each scene just by looking
Mhm.
at them and how they react. I mean, this show is amazing. I like it. And with each episode, I think it's getting better and better, and the story is getting better and better. And we have that underlying murder mystery kind of thing that's going on in the background besides the serial killer thing on top, and this whole dynamic between these two households that are neighbors, right, that are completely different and opposite but completely are attracting to one another.
Mhm. And the poor cat. I mean, I'm glad the
Oh,
cat got away this time.
okay. Yeah, big
But
trigger warning out for that. I can't stand when animals or any kind of pet gets hurt. Oh god, it kills me.
it's interesting because Rebecca saw what he was doing.
Right.
So she knows that there's something brewing. She knows either he did something to somebody or he's going to do something.
And
Um,
interesting because it's John's cat, so the cat is new to the neighborhood. I noticed there's nothing else. You don't see any other people walking dogs or anything like
yeah.
that. So for Tommy, he really hasn't had anything that's really triggered any of those, killer urges. And I think that Rebecca's definitely noticing that, and she might realize that she stopped, at this time, but I don't think she realizes how strong that urge is and how much of an appetite it really is becoming for Tommy, where he kind of needs to feed or kind of needs to kill. And that's
Hmm.
what's really surging. And it's almost like, you know, going from 0 to 60. Because
Hmm.
once that he killed Angus, now he kind of that need has been brought back, and he kind of is feeling that need constantly. You can just tell by the way he went after the cat.
Yeah, it's like once you taste blood, you keep wanting it, right? It's like
Right.
he tasted blood and he wants more of it.
Exactly.
But that's John's cat. What about that? He was willing to do that to John's cat.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I could look at it from the perspective of just having that alpha male, that domineering person, that I'm in charge and I can still take from you, but I can give you as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought it was interesting that he would choose to kill, or attempted to kill John's cat. I also wondered if in that moment he didn't even have any regard for it being John's cat.
Yeah, like the urge to kill was so strong, he may not have been thinking about that.
Yeah, like he might know it's John's cat, but he's like, I'll deal with that if I have to. We can always just say the
Right,
cat ran away somewhere.
right.
The woods here. Who knows? Like, I think he would have, it could have just been that simple. Like, he's like, I'll figure that part out when I need to. I just need to get my fix in right now.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that's exactly what he was thinking.
Yeah.
He wasn't thinking about the aftermath of it. Right.
No, I don't think he was. Not at all.
Mm-mm. No. But yeah, so this was great. So guys, thank you for coming tonight and sharing this live with us. And we appreciate your feedback. And make sure you come back. We're going to have on Saturday, we're going to show episode 4 in the Discord.
Yes.
And that's going to be at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And we can show episode 3 right before that. I can do it at 9. Just to keep everybody up, because we're going to do episode 3 like we did last week. If you would like, if you want, we can.
Yeah, sure. We could do that. We could do 3 and 4. That would be great. We could do that. We could start 3 at 9 and then 4 at 10 o'clock. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our live again next Monday at 10 p.m.
Perfect.
So we look forward to seeing all of you then. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.